All right, we back. We back. Is we back? Let me make sure we back. I want to know if it'll pick up like um the same broadcast. Okay, so no. Hold on. Hold on. We back. I know we back. I know we back. Um. Mm-hmm. It's fine. Hold on. Let me add it right now. I'll do part two real quick. We back though. We back. Like we never left. Don't even trip. We getting back to it. And trust and believe. We got more architects. We got more architects I done messed. It don't matter. Ain't nobody really be chatting on the Twitters. So let me go ahead and post this. Yeah, let me go ahead and post this. We back. We back. We ain't even tripping. We back. Shout out for everybody to stick with me. Boom. That's going out. Now we on back. We back on the timeline. Yeah. Hold on. Making sure that we still here. Yeah, 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 yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Like we never left. Like we never left. Hold on. Let's get back to it. Hold on. I gotta make sure that I'm with the chat. I gotta make sure I can read the chat. You know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. Yeah, we back. We back. We back. You. Can y'all hear me? Am I coming in clear? Let me double check. Let me double check. Yeah, the KBPSs, the kilobytes per second is doing the thing that it's supposed to do. Hovering around 3,000, going into 3,500. We are back in the building, ladies and gentlemen. We don't ever let no technical difficulties stop us from shining. Shout out to y'all. We right back. We right back. Come on, bring your asses back in. But y'all need some more. Y'all need some time to. Okay, I got you. I know what we gotta do. I know what we gotta do. We gotta play some more music. We gotta give y'all time to come on through. Come on through. You feel me? Come back. Come on back. Come on back. Give y'all some time. You feel me? I thought it was gonna let me pick up where we left off as far as the Twitter stream, but it's all good. Sammy, you back? That's what I'm talking about, Sammy. Sammy, man, listen, man. First of all, again, if y'all didn't know, if y'all wasn't here for the last stream, my man Sammy's having a baby boy. Let's go. Plenty of things to celebrate this week. Shout out to Source the Prophet on the low. On the low, Source the Prophet really been coming through and rocking with me, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So I want you to know that I appreciate y'all coming through, man. I want all of y'all to know that, man. For real, for real. It's been super dope, and I really can't, thank you guys enough. Let's see. Hold on. You know what? Yeah, that's what I want to hear. That's the song I want to hear. Yup. Mm-hmm. Oh, we taking shots for episode 50. Okay, we taking shots for episode 50, so I'm not gonna take no shots on camera because YouTube is gonna be like, did you consume any alcohol? Did you smoke anything on the thing that we can't put the ads on it? Is it okay? So this is my joint right here.
What up, world? It's your boy Young Ryder. Make sure y'all go cop that new album, The Killer Loop, featuring Currency, Styles P, Dave V, Smoke Dizzle, and more. Live.
It's ads back there. That's what I'm talking about. Come on. Time to take some shots. It's time to take some shots. Let's go. Get your glasses ready. Uh-huh. Come on. Listen. Colder than the airport. Music with the rap pads for. Come on. Man, I'm just trying to cop my hands support. I have been doing my hands support when you doing do the things with your past. You come on the dinner, it was the planet. Come on. Open the window. I've been in it more than a minute. Stop. Resolve the top. Open there. Everywhere. Listen, we back.
I hip hop
Take my
distribution.
shot. I'm gonna take my shot off camera though. It ain't nothing there. Can I get another pair? Come on. I've been running from the law. There behind bars, no skirt. Moved on the wrong turn. Nobody got hurt. Uh-huh. Singing ain't that a bear. Uh-huh. I ain't on the down the glass and shit. Come on. Uh-huh. Well, this nigga get in this new set city, nigga. Come on. Listen. Listen. Bert, listen. I'm trying to tell him. I tried to tell him, and I'm not doing that to jump up and down because of the song. I'm trying to have my chair go over my little rug right here. Hold on. Sorry. Bert, listen, there's a spitter song for every bump in these bums' faces. You feel me? I'm telling you, man, I got spitter songs that ain't nobody heard for real. If you wasn't really tapped in. But anyway, let's get back to the festivities, huh? I took my shot, take y'all shot. You already know. Okay, so this is Villa Luaro, excuse me. Built by none other than Werner W. Tandy. Now you may be wondering, yeah, we seeing his works, but who is he? So let's get to an article about him. Canon Hotep's doppelganger. Okay. Let me hold on. Cause my okay, cause I gotta be mindful. Okay. All right. Here we go. From Harlem up to the Hudson River, the creative genius of architect Werner Woodson Tandy remains on display. The next time you venture to Hamilton Terrace, stop by the Ivy Delph apartment building that he designed there in 1948. Okay, with free time on your Harlem tour, visit St. Philip's Episcopal Church on 134th Street. Tandy was still in his 20s when that edifice was completed. You feel me? Okay, so this was written recently, so let's look at something else that he built up. The Ivy Delph. I've never even heard of that. So he got more works that he built. The Ivy Delph apartment building. Ah, got it. Okay. We can't. Okay, this is gonna be the best picture. You feel me? Yeah, listen to Bert. Hit them likes. Hit them likes. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. I don't be asking y'all to do any of that type of shit because I'm so not used to doing that. But yeah, listen to Bert. Like, subscribe, share, repost, retweet, whatever you're doing. Make sure you're rocking and letting the people know that you're rocking. Don't be ashamed. Don't be Hotep on the low now. Don't be sneaking and Hotepping. You feel me? But yeah, this is the apartment building that Tandy built as well. Okay, and what else did the article say he built? The St. Philip's Episcopal Church. Let's look at that. See what else he built. Taking a little second. Let's go back to the page. He was in his 20s when that church was built. All right. What else? What else? Why is it not scrolling? What's going on? We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait for it. We're gonna wait for it. All right. To see the mansion Tandy designed for the illustrious millionaire Madam C.J. Walker, you have to take a trip up the river to Irvington-on-Hudson, where he erected the palatial Villa Lawaro. But Tandy's abilities as an architect, for all his path-breaking accomplishments, is but one of his claims to fame. So he did more. Born May 17th, 1885 in Lexington, Kentucky, Tandy was educated at the Chandler School. Although he gained the basic principles of math, science, and some elements of engineering in the city schools, it was from watching his father, Henry, a brick mason, build homes that he gained the most important lessons of his craft. His father's constructions abound in Lexington. So he comes from a long line. Well, I'm not going to say a long line, but his father was an architect. His father was a builder. So he's just following in his father's footsteps. Okay? So he's watching his pops build all of these different cribs all throughout Kentucky, throughout the late 19th century, going into the early 20th century, cooking. So it says, with these early lessons under his belt and in his head, Tandy enrolled at Tuskegee in 1904. We already know that he was going to link up with Tuskegee. That's all they was pushing. There were not only the classes to expand his natural architectural instincts, but also the political and philosophical underpinnings from the school's founder and leader, Booker T. Washington. Given his talent and training, Tandy was by far the school's most outstanding student in architecture. So star student. You feel me? Went there, hit the ground running. We learned about Booker T. Washington getting a letter from a mom who sent her son stacking up all of that money. Okay, stacked up all of that money to Tuskegee was free, I think. But, all of her hopes and stuff like that to send her boy to Tuskegee, come to find out he got expelled by the time the letter reached Booker T. So he actually came there with a mission, with intentionality, being intentional about his education, being deliberate about his education. And as you can see, he was the most outstanding student in architecture at Tuskegee at the time. According to one website, Tandy met his future wife, Sadie Dorset, while attending Tuskegee. She was the daughter of a Montgomery, Alabama doctor, Cornelius Nathaniel Dorset, who was not only a doctor, but also the first Black American to pass the Alabama medical exam and a confidant of Booker T. Washington. The Tandys were the parents of one son, Vertner Woodson Tandy Jr., Okay, so again, a little bit of that nepotism, networking and stuff like that, to where it's like, I got a star student. Okay, I speak volumes. I speak highly of them. There's somebody, somebody that I'm close with, who's pretty much the first Black doctor in Alabama. He has a daughter that goes to my school and all of that, and yeah, I vouch for him. So I'm pretty sure Booker T. Washington and his relationship with Sadie's father helped Vertner be able to, close the deal, lock it in. In 1905, Tandy transferred to Cornell in Ithaca, where when he arrived on campus. According to one eyewitness, he was adorned in the cadet's uniform with, quote, a saxophone under his arm. So he played the sax too. A year later, Tandy was a member of a team of students who formed Alpha Phi Alpha Society, the first Black American Greek letter fraternity. Also a fact. I'm glad that they mentioned this in the bio. You feel me? I'm glad that they mentioned this in the bio. Alpha Phi Alpha, of course, like they said, was the first Black American Greek letter fraternity. Now, you may be thinking, well, wait, hold on. In 1904, Sigma Pi Phi was created, and you will be right, but that wasn't necessarily a collegiate fraternity. Okay, so that's going to be the difference. As leader, he was one of the ones who formed it. So as a leader of the fraternity, he was the treasurer. He designed the pen, and later was responsible for the fraternity's incorporation. Right, the members of the fraternity, along with Tandy, were called the Jewels, and among its notables were Henry Arthur Callis, whose reflections of those days have been recounted in several books, and Eugene Kinkle Jones, a prominent civic leader with the National Urban League. It was predictable that Tandy would become New York's first Black American registered architect, with an office on Broadway, where his partner was George Washington Foster. I told y'all that the ancestors would be naming their kids after the presidents. You got George Washington Williams, and now you got George Washington Foster. The firm was soon sought by clients across the state, and particularly in Harlem. Foster died in 1923. As World War I stirred around the globe, Tandy was quick to demonstrate his patriotism and was soon the first Black American to pass the military commissioning examination. Subsequently, he was commissioned a first lieutenant in the 15th Infantry of the New York State National Guard. In effect, he was a member of the famed Hellfighters of Harlem, who distinguished themselves on the battlefields of Europe. The buildings Tandy constructed are found from one end of Harlem to the other, including Mother Zion AME Church on 138th Street, Mount Mora Baptist Church on 134th, the Abraham Lincoln Housing Projects, and even the 369th Infantry Regiment Armory, where his military unit was stationed. During this stint, he organized the regiment's recruiting station. Okay, he developed the armory in association with other architects, as he did with many other sites. Tandy also designed many buildings in his hometown of Lexington, and it is rather ironic that he did not design or build the home where he lived on Strivers Row in Harlem. Suffering from pneumonia, Tandy died November 7th, 1949. So, going back to what I was saying, these structures still exist to this very day. Okay? So, did St. Philip's load up yet? Nah, what street that was on? Okay, is it gonna be this one? St. Philip's, Harlem? I think it's this building. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yep, Black presence in the Episcopal Diocese of New York. Yep, I think this is going to be it. This is the church he built. Look at this, man. This wasn't no bullshit. This wasn't no small thing. Yeah, let's see how it looked in the heyday. So it was founded in 1809, though. So is this the same one? I'm not sure, but he did. No, yeah, church, 134th Street. This is where it's talking about. So let's see. Crystal says, shout out to nepotism. That's a fact. That's a fact. One of the country's oldest Black parishes. From its origins in Lower Manhattan, the church moved uptown several times, following the Black community and seeking safety from sporadic violence, such as the race riot of 1900. We're not seeing. Oh yeah, here we go. Around the turn of the century, Church Rector Hutchins Chew Bishop began buying Harlem rental properties, evicting whites and renting to blacks. See, this is, again, you don't be knowing all of this, okay? Because they don't tell y'all this in the textbooks, but the ancestors were evicting the whites. You understand? You got to go. This is mine now. You got to go, okay? And we're going to bring some black people in here, Okay, I be trying to tell y'all the ancestors were very intentional, and it's not to say that they were in these instances discriminating against white people or whatnot like that. But just listen, if you are not keeping up with the the lease agreement or whatever, have a reason to evict you. Okay. With the income, he bought land on 134th Street and hired black architect Vertner Tandy to design a new building. The impressive Gothic structure provided a spiritual and community home for black parishioners in Harlem. Look at this. Is it going to zoom in? Is it going to big it up? So the church itself was founded in 1809. But as time went on, at the top of the 20th century, he hired Vertner to build it. Oh, man, this is great. This is great. I guess it's not, I don't know if it's loading up or not. It don't matter. We getting froze on for some reason. But it's all good. We gonna keep it going. We got a few more architects that I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna take another shot. The internet is acting super wacky tonight. But yeah, so this is the church. Beautiful church. Beautiful. Look at that, man. Absolutely gorgeous. So let's get out of that. Okay, so that was Vertner W. Tandy. Let's get to Robert R. Taylor. MIT's first black graduate, nation's first accredited black American architect, designer of Tuskegee Institute campus buildings prior to 1932, great-grandfather of Valerie Jarrett and more. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. First of all, who's Valerie Jarrett? I've never heard of her. She's the great-grandfather. Well, he's the great-grandfather of her. So let's see. Okay, businesswoman and former senior advisor to the President of the United States. Wow. Okay. She died in 88. All right. Yeah, man. Okay, shout out to her. Let's get back to her great-grandfather. All right. Yo, remember, was y'all there on movie night? And we're going to have a historic movie night. That's already in the works for November. Y'all are going to love it. Just like on the topics, you guys will be able to vote for it. On which movies. Yes, they will be old. The movies will be old as hell. I'm just letting y'all know now. The movies may be silent. They will be from the early 20th century, and we're going to be able to vote on it. We're going to have a movie night coming in November, so look out for that. And I did not forget about the book club either. You feel me? Oh, she worked for Obama? Got it. Okay. I didn't forget about the book club. We will have time for that, so trust me, we got a lot of stuff coming. That's why I want y'all to subscribe to the Patreon now. Patreon.com. You see it right here, down, right? What is it? Right here, patreon.com/Hotep History. But let's get into the article about Robert R. Taylor. In September 1888, a young black American traveled from Wilmington, North Carolina. Shout out to Wilmington, North Carolina. That's where my granny from. To Boston, Massachusetts to sit the examination for entrance of MIT. Robert Robinson Taylor was brimming with enthusiasm despite skepticism on the part of friends and relatives back home. Because you already know when you the first nigga to do something, you the first black man to do something, you're going to be like, people are going to be around you, well, it's never been done before. It's never happened before. Why would you think you would be able to get it done? Because I'm me. Mainly because I'm him. You understand? Mainly because of that. Okay. So, I think this is a quote, I guess. When it was known, this is from Taylor. When it was known that I was leaving my home to study at MIT, many of the home people asked, what is the use? And a question of similar nature was asked by many in other places. After graduation, what? Where's the field? So they didn't even see it. This is from him, The Scientific Development of the Negro, 50th Anniversary of a Chapter of the charter of MIT. Okay, we'll look that up at another time. Born June 8th, 1868 in Wilmington, North Carolina, Robert Taylor came from a relatively privileged family background. His father, Henry Taylor, was the son of a white slave owner and a black mother, and as such, had been allowed enough freedom before the Civil War to go into business for himself. He moved to Wilmington, North Carolina in 1850, where he worked as a carpenter. Henry Taylor developed a prosperous career as a contractor and builder, constructing cargo ships that plied trade routes between the United States and South America via the Caribbean. Also active in building construction, he erected a number of commercial and residential edifices in the Wilmington area and elsewhere. According to family tradition, Taylor the Elder worked on the Bellamy Mansion Museum and other antebellum buildings. He also operated a grocery store and was active in many of the civic and religious affairs of the city. Taylor the Elder was a member of the Giblin Masonic Lodge and a founding member of the local Republican Party. And so I find it so interesting, right? That when we talk about not being married to one political party or the other and all of that, man, like there's so much history when it comes to black Americans and the Republican Party. And the minute that those Republicans turned their back on black Republicans was like, all right, what we got next? What's next on the docket? Who else do we, have to work with and stuff like that? And these people be founding, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they be founding the local Republican Party in their area. And as you can see, one of the things that I'm noticing, right, when it comes down to prominent black Americans of the late 19th century going into the early 20th century, they're going to be men who have a skill, some type of vocational industrial skill or professional skill or commercial skill, right? You're going to have your in industrial, commercial, and professional. You're going to see either one or all three, okay, being together in this one person. There's this person right here. It's all three. And then you'll also see them being a part of some type of fraternity. Like you have to be able to consort with other like-minded black men. That's like you have to find your tribe. That's what the fraternities were all about, finding your tribe. Like-minded men, like-minded women who are going to be able to fellowship with you based upon your like-mindedness. That's it. Just finding your tribe. And it wasn't just about being like, oh, you think like me. No, it's like, no, we need to build something together. We need to network. We need to make something happen. You feel me? So you'll see a lot of that. You'll see a lot of overlap between, black American men and women who were successful. They're going to be not only a personal success, but then immediately think about how they're going to be able to help their community. And they're going to be grounded in some type of faith. You're going to be grounded in some type of fraternal order so you can have a backing. You have a crew. You have a tribe that you can rely on. You have a community that you can rely on. You feel me? Bert says, because at one point, Republicans actually were for limited government. I know, right? I know, Bert, how far they've fallen. How far they've fallen. But anyway, back off of my ramble, let's get back to the article. Taylor's early schooling took place in Wilmington at the Williston School and later at the Gregory Normal Institute, a school for blacks operated and maintained by the American Missionary Association. After graduating, he worked in his father's business and learned the rudiments of the building trade. Okay? If I'm not mistaken, didn't Tandy do some of the same things? You feel me? Both father and son soon agreed that the younger Taylor should formalize his technical training. Though as a boy, Taylor had hoped to attend the elite Lincoln University near Philadelphia, which would grant him an honorary doctorate years later, they set their sights on MIT, arguably the institution with the best program in architecture available. Founded in 1865, MIT School of Architecture offered the first formal architectural curriculum in the United States and the first architecture program in the world operating within the establishment of a university. Okay, let's see how he worked. The class of 1892 was the largest on record since the institution's founding. 328 registered for the fall semester of 1888. Okay. Having worked in his father's business for a period, Taylor entered MIT a couple years older than the average freshman coming straight out of high school. So he got real life experience, real hands-on experience before he even goes to school. I want y'all to keep that in mind. You feel me? I want y'all to keep that in mind, that learning by doing. We talked about that when it comes to the ancestors. Learning by doing. So before you even get a formal education at MIT, you are apprenticing under your father in his business, getting that real life experience. So while you may be a little bit older than all of the other freshmen, you have more experience than the average freshman at MIT. And this is, again, one of the top schools in the country, right? So let's get back to it. Also, he was one of a mere handful of students from the South. Most MIT students at the time were New Englanders, with a smattering from other parts of the country and from overseas. So I want y'all to know that there was a cultural difference there. People up north did look at the South in a particular way, and vice versa, right? People up north looked at the South as a little bit backward, a little bit slow, you know, shit like that. And people down south looked at up north as a bunch of hoity-toity, uptight, uppity people and stuff like that. So he had a little bit of like a little stereotypes that they have for each other. So the fact that this young man is coming from Wilmington, North Carolina, with all of his southern whatever, he has all of this greatness in him. So keep that in mind as well. In fact, there was a prejudice of sorts against Southerners. See, I won't be reading these articles ahead of time. I promise you. I find and I get the person's name, find a good reputable site that talks about them, and move on to the next subject, because I want to react to this stuff in real time on stream. So I did not read ahead at all. In fact, there was a prejudice of sorts against Southerners, even against those white and black whose families hailed originally from the South. An 1887 article in the student newspaper, The Tech, for example, referred to a region of southern Ohio as, quote, the Lazy Belt, so named because of, quote, certain characteristics of its inhabitants, who in past time have wandered westward from the Old Dominion. So again, this is not me making this stuff up. It's just me understanding what's really the energy and what's going on the ground. A lot of people, when they study history and stuff like that, they can't really give you the context of people's thoughts and people's feelings and people's beliefs at the time. And that's the reason why I don't get offended much when it comes down to racism and all of that other stuff, because once you understand it, you really can just like let it go. And I tell people all of the time, you do not have to agree with somebody to understand them. I tell you, all of the time, I read slave owner narratives. They are literally writing books talking about how good slavery is, how lazy slaves are, and all of the plight that they think they have a plight as a slave owner. I don't have to agree with him to understand why he did it, or why he wrote it, or why he believes that. It's the same thing with this stuff. I don't believe that Southern Ohio was the lazy belt. I don't know. But I can understand, why somebody would say that, right? So I don't have to agree. So Taylor, nevertheless, appears to have adjusted quite well to his new environment, at least academically. His record at MIT during the 4 years he attended, 1888 to 1892, was above the class average. You understand? So that's regardless of race. Taylor is smoking shit as a student. Me personally, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact of his upbringing, how intentional his father was when it came down to raising his boy. It wasn't, see what you like, do what you feel. It's like, no, I'm an architect. I work, I build structures. That's how I put food on the table. You are my son. I love you. Okay? Come to work with your old dad. See how it is. And of course, you wanting to be like your dad, you having a reverence for your dad, you feel me? You gonna be like, oh shit, this is what my pops do? I could do that. And then you work in his business for 2 years before you even go to school for it. So it's no wonder that he would be above the class average. He's coming in above average off the dribble. You think those freshmen built anything of note? While his father's building all of this stuff throughout Wilmington. And he's helping his father. Real, like, brick by brick buildings. These kids is studying in high school. They're not in the field. They're not outside. And as you can see, he still had doubters. Like, yo, what you going in there for? Like, what you going to MIT for? He still had people like that. Okay. Taylor, nevertheless, blah, blah, blah. He earned honors in trigonometry, architectural history, differential calculus, and applied mechanics, never failing a course. What? Never failed once. Never failed once. And these ain't no small, this is not some rinky-dink subjects here. We got trigonometry, architectural history. Shout out to the historians out there. Differential calculus and applied mechanics. A bunch of STEM in history. Come on, man. Look at the ancestors, man. Look at how they giving it up. A bunch of STEM and some history. When I be telling y'all, the prescriptions be right there. The motivation, the inspiration, the blueprint be right there. No pun intended with the blueprint. He's smoking shit. This is the 1880s going into the 1890s. Passing with flying colors in STEM. Come on, man. Come on. Taylor held a Loring scholarship for 2 consecutive academic years and may have been the first recipient. The Loring Scholarship was one of the several stipends available to MIT students who had proven their potential through hard work and superior performance. Come on, man. This is absolutely incredible. This is a long page. I didn't realize how long this page is. Look at that scroll bar. Very short, very small. I don't know if we're going to get through the whole article, but this is good stuff here. Shout out for, this is MIT's website too. They really paying homage here. I mean, why wouldn't they? This is one of theirs. This is one of their graduates. So of course they're going to hold it down, right? Thesis work. In addition to his overall academic record, Taylor's, quote, promise of future usefulness was evident in the subject he chose as a final project for his major in architecture, course 4. The project, entitled Design for a Soldier's Home, involved creating plans for a nursing and a convalescent home for aged, infirm Civil War veterans. Come on, man. Looking out for the people. This segment of the population had been rapidly increasing in number and was still the source of considerable social concern almost 30 years after the end of the war. The federal government had already begun to tackle the problem of long-term care for veteran facilities, a development Taylor's thesis introduction addresses. Taylor would use many of the ideas developed in his thesis to professional advantage later in his career. Okay. And this is the first page of Taylor's senior thesis, A Soldier's Home, which includes 8 handwritten pages and 2 architectural designs, or 2 architectural drawings, 1892. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Taylor's architectural drawing front view for A Soldier's Home, 1892. Look at this. Look at what he wanted to build for the veterans, man. This is incredible. So this is the top view of the building. Look how, like, this wasn't no small building. This was going to be a great facility. I don't know if it ever came to fruition. We'll see. In view of the number of soldiers who fought in the late war, now suffering from the infirmities of old age and thereby incapable of supporting themselves, the government purposes erecting a home where about 200 may be cared for comfortably. This home must have, quote, well, I keep saying, quote, this home must have at least the following rooms: viz, parlors, libraries, dormitories, dining rooms, a large playroom, an entertainment hall and chapel, a dispensary. And I know it's not what we call a dispensary, but an operating room, an examining room, a convalescent room, laundries, and toilet rooms. In a building of this kind, the designer should keep several things prominently in his mind. He should have the different parts of his building well connected in order to allow free circulation. Still, he ought not to connect too intimately the hospital with parts of the building designed for other uses. Then, as the inmates of the home are infirm, he should use the greatest allowable area and as few stories as possible in order to avoid climbing several flights of stairs. For whatever purpose intended, he should have his rooms large, well lighted, and well ventilated. Perfect prescription. I'm not an architect. Sorry, y'all. I'm not an architect, so I can't even like go up against any of this stuff. This sounds absolutely perfect. Remember when we went over the Poro College, Annie Turnbull Malone, and how she had that entire building decked out, you know, for as her school goes, right? Had a lot of some of the same things: dining rooms, dorms, libraries, parlors. You know, they had different food situations in there, cafeterias. They had laundry rooms. They had laundry trucks. Like they had an entire kitted out building. Cost her about $1 million back then. That's not adjusted for inflation. That's $1 million cash. You feel me? Let's get to the chat. Well, let's finish this paragraph and then we'll get to the chat. Taylor's was an ambitious plan, undoubtedly more elaborate than anything the federal government would have been willing to adopt for this purpose. The overall scheme reflected both the style of large French institutions and the problems studied and taught at the, here we go with these French words, École des Beaux-Arts in Paris. I know I butchered that. I don't care. I'm American. I speak American. Were many members of the architecture facility. Were many members of the architecture faculty at MIT had been trained. All right. Now restored MIT preservation experts Robert Robinson Taylor's diploma is on display at the new MIT Museum, which opened to the public on October 2nd, 2022 in Kendall Square. Okay. Shout out to the diploma. What we got here? MIT class of 1892, the largest on record since its opening in 1865. We're not going to be able to recognize them here, but you can see an abundance of white faces here. So, you know, I dig it. All right. So now let's get back to the chat. Let's see what the chat talking about. Y'all typing like big, long shit. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah. So Sammy says we never married a party, but definitely have strong history with the Republicans. Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, we helped founded it. You know what I mean? Sammy says that's why they portrayed Booker T. Washington that way in Gilded Age. Southerners were condescendingly referenced. Man, Sammy, yo, listen. Y'all have until the end of the month to finish binging Gilded Age. Y'all have until the end of the month to binge Gilded Age and get caught up to the end of season 3, because come November, we're talking Gilded Age. I'm watching it again, and I took notes the first time that I watched it, but I didn't start taking notes until like the second season. Like the middle of the second season. So I want to go back to season 1, episode 1, start again, have all my notes ready, have all my storytelling and all of that stuff ready, and we are going to break it down, beloveds. So make sure y'all are, if you don't care for it to be spoiled, or you just waiting for my commentary on it, just wait for me. But if you want to watch the Gilded Age and you don't want to have it spoiled for you before I get to talking, you have until November 1st or whenever. Where's the first stream of November? Let me check the calendar. What's the first stream of November? The first stream of November is the 3rd. Okay? So y'all have until November 3rd to get all caught up on Gilded Age. All caught up on Gilded Age by November 3rd, and then we talking about it. We're going to have a whole episode about it. You understand? Because Sammy's absolutely right. Bert says they still are today. That's a fact. I be in spaces. And as a New Yorker, people be thinking they have that northern allyship, and I ain't going to front. I'm holding it down for up north. You feel me? But I understand. You already know I study too much history to not know about the South and how the South gave it up historically. We talking 90+% of Black America was living in the South at one point. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I got mad love, mad respect, and mad reverence for the South. So you already know. Sammy says, to some degree, I always saw us Southerners being viewed as lesser as an advantage. Okay, we connect with the people better, but we can low-key be the most intellectual in the room. Listen, man. What T.I. say expeditiously? You feel me? I agree. I absolutely agree. I've seen too much proper intellectualism, proper industriousness, proper vocation, proper professionalism, commercialism. It's so much. And while I give it up to the fact that a lot of the northern black Americans were living in freedom for a very long time, a lot longer than the ancestors in the South, for sure. But the way people not only viewed the South, it gave, like Sammy says, the Southerners, black Southerners specifically, the advantage, because now you get to like really show up and show out, just like how Taylor did. Taylor, for all intents and purposes, was the best student, the best student at MIT. You feel me? So trust and believe. Let's see. Sammy also says, I'd be curious to know what curriculum they covered in their history books back in Tuskegee. The stark contrast to what we were taught would definitely be evident, in my opinion. Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all. I tell people all of the time when it comes down to like us being pigeonholed to the civil rights era, like, what do y'all think children in 1950 were learning about as far as like black American history? There is no civil rights movement to talk about. They were like literally learning about the ancestors. And I'll give you a perfect example because you know I be knowing. We're going to get back to it. Let's see. We're going to get back to it. But we're gonna learn something. I'm glad, yo. Shout out to everybody tapping in on Twitter. 44 people. 44 people. I think cute should be fine as a keyword. I don't say cute a lot. I don't say cute a lot on the timeline. Oh yeah. Yeah, I use that. I use cute for this picture. I already exposed who this was, obviously, but if you guys know who he is, you can guess it in the chat. But anyway, this is the book that I was actually talking about here. So this book was published in the early 20th century, and it's by a woman by the name of Bessie Landrum. 1923, this was published, and it says the story of black folk for little folk. Okay, it says, I said, see, there's some shots catching up to me. I found this cute early 20th century black history book for elementary school children made by Bessie Landrum. She describes the people as prince, king, and princess in the stories and adds a layer of whimsy to engage the children. The preface of this book is dope as well. So let me show y'all what the babies were learning about their ancestors in the early 20th century. So it says the aim of this book is fourfold. 1, to provide the youth with some facts of Negro history. 2, to supply elementary schools with selections from standard works of Negro authors. 3, to create within children the desire to admire and to study more deeply the achievements of the black folk. And 4, to inspire at the proper time the rising generation of future men and women with information of those who, in humility and in spite of obstacles, arose from lowly positions to those of might and power. Listen, man, I don't be lying on the ancestors. You'll never see me lying on the ancestors when I tell y'all what the ancestors meant, what the ancestors did, what the ancestors said is backed by the ancestors. Bessie said, I'm doing this for 4 reasons. 1, to give the babies black American history. 2, to make sure that the schools that these babies go to have black American history in it. To make sure that I'm inspiring the babies to be great based upon the people that came before them. And then finally, using that information and using that inspiration to have them not only be inspired to go do great things themselves, but also understand that this shit ain't cheap, that freedom ain't free. So in spite of obstacles, arose from lowly positions to those of might and power. This is in 1923, she said this. 1923, I want y'all to see. Yes, did they start in slavery? Sure. Did they get whooped, beat, sold, transferred, and all others? Absolutely. But then they still went on to do amazing things. Don't let the first part of their story be the end all be all. No, read the entire story. Okay, it says, The book affords many opportunities for research by the pupils while studying the subordinate characters, facts, and events of its stories. That's what I be wanting what y'all to do. What I be dropping names and dates and all this other stuff, I want y'all to take what I told y'all and take it further. I remember I had somebody tell me in the DMs or on my timeline being like, yo, Doe, you said this, or Hotep, you said this on stream, and I looked it up. Crystal do it all of the time. Like, dog, like, yo, this stuff begets more Black American history. You feel me? So yeah, don't just take my word for it. Take it further. So y'all know about Bessie Landrum. Tell me more about Bessie. I got her book in my library. I read it, but I didn't do a deep dive on Bessie. What can you tell me about Bessie? Is her story or the things that she did related in any way to another figure? Like we just found out about Tandy, that his wife's father was a confidant of Booker T. Washington. So when it came down for a referral, you know what I'm saying? Because imagine Tandy, you know, is courting, what was her name? Dorset or Sadie. He's courting Sadie, right? And this is early 20th century shit, so you already know it's all respect. You feel me? When it comes down to, you know, Booker T and Sadie's father sitting back like, yeah, man, Sadie, you know, she's taken by or smitten by this young man, one of your students. Who? Tandy, Vertner Tandy. Oh, Tandy. Yeah. Good egg. Great student. Going places. I stamped that. I vouched that he's a good kid. You sure, Book? Yeah, I'm sure. He does great. He's going to go on to do great things. You shouldn't worry about it. You know how far that goes, that nepotism, how far that goes, like just that be recommended by Booker T. Washington as a suitable suitor. You feel me? Like I would appreciate that as a father and as a son. I would, on both ends, I would appreciate Booker T. Washington as a father being like, nah, he's a good egg. You don't have to worry about him. You feel me? Or as Tandy being like, yo, son, Booker T, like OG Book, looked out for me. He put in a good word. You know? And it says this material may be correlated with lessons in reading, history, civics, literature, and language. This is just the preface of the book. We didn't even get into the contents of the book. Let's get into the contents. Huh? What else we got? So she talked about Phyllis Wheatley. And this is one of the stories, and we're gonna read this one page and we're gonna get right back to the subject, but I'm hype. Y'all got me off shots. Y'all got me off episode 50 shots. So it says, once upon a time over 100 years ago, when the land of flowers, sunshine, and music was possessed mostly by the merry black folk, there was born there among them, so Mother Moon told the stars, the most precious little princess in the kingdom of the blacks. First of all, first little paragraph, beautiful. Keeping it, like I said, the fairy tale style of it. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that you're engaging the kids at their level. So you're going to hit them with the once upon a time, merry black folk, Mother Moon told the stars, princess in the kingdom of the blacks. Like, that's great. That's going to grab that child's attention. Okay? It says, for 8 fiery summers, she laughed and played in the wonderful gardens of her native land as freely as the mischievous pygmies whom nobody could catch and punish for the pranks they played upon the folks thereabouts. Okay? So there she was, just a swarthy, tiny creature growing among the palms, the fruits and blossoms and other graceful things that nodded in the breezes. And she was cheerful. She was as cheerful as a lark, for her heart was full of joy and her song was full of her beautiful thoughts. But of course, she was a sort of a prince. But of course, she was that sort of a princess. Okay? For she was surrounded by the beauty and song of thousands of creatures. In the jungles about her, many big and little waters were tinkling and humming. Quote, on we gurgle as we struggle to meet the river king. And the River King responded, quote, rush to me, the old Congo, and I'll bear you humming waters to the mighty Ocean King, the Atlantic, the Atlantic. And between the humming waters, birds by thousands in the treetops every day were trilling sweetly, warble, 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 warble. Even the lions and tigers, the elephants and the zebras and the monkeys and the gorillas and other beasts rioting in the jungles struck up discords. So that's Phyllis Wheatley. I think she was born in Africa. I'm not sure. Now look, now we got, come on, you know she was going to write about it. You feel me? You know she was going to write about him. Booker Taliaferro Washington. Let's read about him real quick. Now, about 5 years before President Abraham Lincoln sent forth the black slaves to earn their fortunes, King Thrift, she called him King Thrift. This is, oh my God, y'all don't understand how much I love this book. Y'all have no idea how much I love this book. This is a amazing child's book, amazing children's book. She calls him King Thrift. See, this is what I'm saying when it comes down to imagination and being able to connect these stories with the children. Yes, his name is Booker T. Washington, but also you can name him King Thrift. I call him Big Book, OG Book. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing takes away from the scholarship by giving Booker T. Washington a nickname, is my point. He's still Booker T. Washington, but to be able to, for my audience to ingest or consume the content, I'm going to be a little bit, I'm going to put some showmanship in. I'm going to play some music at the top of the stream. I'm going to, be, myself and give that showmanship to show y'all like, yo, listen, this is your ancestors. These are people that you should be able to connect to. So the perfect way for somebody like a child to remember Booker T. Washington is attaching it to a title like King Thrift, calling him a king. Imagine what that psychologically does to a black child, calling Booker T. Washington a king, calling Phyllis Wheatley a princess. Imagine what that does to the mind of that child. This book was written in 1923. So imagine what that does to that little girl or that little boy reading about King Thrift or Princess Wheatley. And you see how they describe, like she described Phyllis Wheatley's, living in the Congo, beautifully. So let's see how she read about Booker T. Washington. From a toddling child, little Booker was useful. Before he was able to speak plainly, he was faithful to hand his mother the pots and pans that glistened and swung in the kitchen cabin where he and she slept by night and where she strove by day as the cook for their owner's family. A thriving group of happy people living in Franklin County, Virginia, upon a vast plantation that teemed with slaves and plenty. You see how they're talking to the babies about slavery? You noticing that? You see how they're talking about it? They're not sitting there trying to trauma dump onto children like they be doing in schools today, giving them those inferiority complexes. You see how she describes this? She didn't act like slavery didn't exist. I know she's from that, like the time where somebody in her family, she might have been enslaved, but she's understanding who our audience is, the babies. We don't want to do anything that's going to negatively impact this. We don't want to traumatize them based upon our words and storytelling. The mission is still to inspire, educate, and motivate. Okay? Here we go. As soon as he was large enough to hold the reins of horses, he was happy to assist the ladies of his owner's household when they rode horseback. Often, as he was employed thus, he was heard calling, "Gee, whoa," to the horses as proudly as if he had been a nobleman driving his own team. He's just riding horses, but look how she's describing it. Look how she's wording it to give you that sense of pride as a child, to give you that sense of amazement, to give you that sense of like, I can do it too. I should be proud of the work that I'm doing. I may be 5, I may be 6, I may be 7 years old, but Booker T. Washington Once he was able to get the control of reins, was able to control a horse. And he did it just like he was a nobleman. You feel me? Now Booker was Now Booker was ambitious also. Now Booker was ambitious also. Once after the ladies had returned from riding, he saw them linger to chatter and eat dainties. And he had said to himself, quote, when I can talk and eat as they are doing, I will be as happy as I ever want to be. Now, I want everybody to remember she's talking about Booker T. Washington as a slave boy. When it comes down to the narrative that she's talking about Booker as a child, do you get any negative connotation to what his life was like as a child, as a child slave? No, because that's not that's not Black American history. It's not. Black American history is the skills that he's acquiring, or his perseverance and determination and ambition in spite of his current circumstances, in spite of his current situation. That's the Black American history part. Slavery, as far as, the ancestors being enslaved, that's not Black American history. Now, when you talk about the Black slave owners, okay, it is. But overall, no. Black American history is his life. Not the institution that dictated his status. No, whoever created those institutions or created that environment, that's their history. Okay? So when it comes down to this, there's no reason to frame Booker T. Washington's young life as this, pure hell existence. It couldn't be. It couldn't be. You don't have a pure hell existence and then create Tuskegee. You don't. You may go through some hell. You will have trials and tribulations. You will have ups and downs. You will have times where you want to give up, or hardships, or bloody knees, bloody elbows. That's going to happen. But the overall, the overarching thing is going to be, no, I went through all of this, learn the lessons from it, and I go on to build Tuskegee. At another time, he heard a Black man reading a book, and he said, quote, when I can read as well as he is reading, I will want nothing more. You see? He's seeing how all of these different people are living and moving. So the little white girls over there, they eating they snacks and stuff like that, and they get to be happy and laugh and talk. When I'm able to do that, I'll be happy. Seeing a Black man reading. When I'm able to read like him, I'll be happy. Look at the things the ancestors were pursuing and seeking for contentment. Education, ability. Thus, though a slave, young Booker wanted freedom and education. That's it. As free as those girls are, and as educated as that man is, that's what I want. That's what I want for me. As Booker was born when he could use, as Booker was born when he could use his talents to serve the Black folk, he experienced and saw only a few horrors of slavery. Come on, man. Like, I'm trying to tell y'all something, man. This was the entire point. This was the entire point. So when y'all get to asking yourselves, yo, I learned I'm telling y'all, from me, born in 89, I was in high school during the early 2000s, freshman in 2004. Middle school, elementary don't even matter, because, whatever. But when it came down to Black American history, I'm telling you, they'll mention slavery, acknowledge it, but they're going to focus on the civil rights era. They're going to focus on the late 50s going into the late 60s. That's it. They're going to focus on Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X. You feel me? They're going to worry about the 1950s and the 1960s. That's the most popular part of Black American history. The most popular part to Black American history. You feel me? So let's get to the chat. No, let me finish my point. That's the most popular point. I'm sorry, my brain be going all over the place. That's the most popular part of Black American history. So imagine the children of the 60s and 50s. What could they possibly been learning? Because the civil rights movement did not happen yet. The civil rights era did not start yet. So what were the babies learning? And I answered your question. This is what the babies were learning. If it was up to black educators, this is what they were learning, and this is the realm in which they were learning it. So let's get back to the chat. Sammy says, for sure says, I love the word whimsy. Wait. Sammy says, you seen that proper intellectualism exposed by Joe Budden in the recent skirmish. Loved how they handled it. Yeah, for sure. Joe held it down. We talked about that too on stream, where it was like the only reason why people became anti-intellectual is because the intellectual failed Black America. Now to be a contemporary Black American intellectual in today's realm, you got to be a fucking Democrat shill. You know what I'm saying? Come out of some college, it don't matter. HBCU for extra points. It don't matter though. And you just need to be, talking down on lifestyles or backgrounds of Black Americans, which honestly fostered our, development, achievement, progress, and advancement. But of course, this new, liberal thing that they've been using or been pushing for the past several decades, I'm about to say like 60, 70 years, if you're not going to toe that line, if you're going to be on some Hotep history shit where you're reaching all the way back to the early 20th century, all the way back to the early 18th and 19th century, you are definitely outside of that realm, and they're going to talk down on you. If you're not about to toe the line and vote for Kamala and all this other stuff, then you are essentially not one of us. And so they turned their backs on Black America for their own chips, for their own pats on the head and pats on the back. That's what they did. They sold Black America out. You cannot be mad when you sell Black America out and then Black America turns their back on you. And the only people that's rocking with you are other people that are willing to sell Black America out. Sorry. So when it comes down to that stuff, the intellectual class 100% turned their backs on Black America. They did. Just like the Republicans did, just like the Democrats did, and everybody else. When people know that they have a special foothold inside of the community, they take that shit for granted. And you can tell. They just get their marching orders from Washington. They get their marching orders from whoever is employing them at iHeart or at NBC or MSNBC or CNN. They get their marching orders, get their talking points, and that's just what it is. And even when you start talking about your conservative intellectuals, they do the same thing just with Fox and whatever school they come out of. It's the same thing. Nobody's Black American first. Nobody's Black American first. The only people that are Black American first are going to be people like me. Just not even trying to toot my own horn, even if I do. If it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, then beep, nigga. But what I'm trying to tell you, when it comes down to my scholarship, when it comes down to my intellectualism, because I would consider myself somewhat of an intellectual here. I definitely read more than the average American, period. So I already know that I can have conversations. I've debated professors. I've debated academics. I've debated people who are supposedly these industry and mainstream intellectuals. Can't really say that I've lost one, to be totally honest. Can't really say I've lost the debate when it comes to these people, because my scholarship comes from Black people historically. It comes from historic Black people. Bessie Landrum, let's look her up. And we're going to get to all of the tabs, but we having fun tonight. You know what I'm saying? So, come on. I've been stopped typing. It's taking forever to catch up. Do we have a picture of Bessie? Probably not. Is this her? So, yeah. Oh, that's Sojourner Truth. Nigga. So, no, we don't have a picture of Bessie, which is fine. But, like, I'm tapped in with people who lived and died over 100 years ago. They've been gone. So you got enough people, you know what I'm saying, that's Still around, elders that are still around have been towing that liberal Democrat line and shit like that for decades, and they get their chips, they get their money, and they get their pats on the head and all that other shit while Black America starves, while Black America walks around, insecure about itself, having low racial self-esteem and not really knowing where they come from. Now imagine if from a small child, they've been reading Bessie Landrum, or teachers and adults and parents read them Bessie Landrum's book, instilled that pride in them early. Imagine how they would walk around here. But I digress. I just wanted to say that that's why history is important and the ancestors understood. Okay? So let's get back to it. Let's get back to who we leave off on. Okay? Taylor. Shout out to Big Book. Let's see. During Taylor's course of study at MIT, he had talked in person on more than one occasion with Big Book, the prominent Black educator and race leader from Tuskegee. In 1881, about a decade earlier, Washington had founded Tuskegee, a Black school that had started as a normal teacher training school with a few ramshackle, never even heard that one, ramshackle buildings and a small grant from the state of Alabama. This is what Tuskegee looked like at first. Just these three little buildings. Within a couple decades, Tuskegee became one of the best-known Black American schools in the nation, with substantial funding from Northern philanthropists, industrialists, and businessmen such as Andrew Carnegie and Julius Rosenwald. We told you. Booker T told you the strategy. Y'all sit there and y'all be so pro-Black that y'all sit there don't even understand that this is a wide audience that you're dealing with. It's 330 million people here. You don't think I want white people to be watching these streams? Why not? Why not? Let's grow the audience. Let's get as many people up in here. Let's get the Asians in here. Let's get the Hispanics, everybody. That's what Big Book was on. Yo, Carnegie. Yo, Rockefeller. Yo, Rosenwald. Yo, Ford. Everybody. Yo, you see what we got going on? Yeah. 10,000 from you, 20,000 from you, 100,000 from you. Absolutely. I don't care how y'all feel personally. Henry Ford hated Jewish people. Hated them. He had an entire newspaper dedicated to talking cash shit about Jewish people. He wrote a book talking shit about Jewish people. Like, yo, listen, man, heard you. I know you're not big on the Jews or whatnot, but we got what we got going on in Tuskegee. If you come on through, see what we got going on, you might be interested in it. Because the way these industrialists and these businessmen looked at it is like, yo, listen, not every last one of these graduates is about to be business owners. Some of them are going to need a job. So we give Booker T. Washington this money to keep building up Tuskegee, we'll be able to get some employees out of this deal. And you only need a few to be able to recoup. This is Rockefeller we talking about. Donating $10,000 is literally like me donating $10. It wasn't a lot of money to him, but it was a lot of money to Tuskegee. Be able to build a whole new building, a whole new wing, a whole new hall. Be able to add a curriculum because of that 10,000, because of that 20,000. He was probably making 20,000 every month as far as Rockefeller goes. That's nothing. But to Tuskegee's development, yeah, bring that on over here. And you'll have people in contemporary times where you're like, oh, he was beholden to these white people. No, the hell he wasn't. He was going to build that wing and focus his course of study on these things regardless. But that's what it was. The reason why a lot of these guys, like Carnegie and them, invested in Tuskegee is because they knew they was going to be able to get some employees out of the deal. I'll be able to recoup the money that I donated and all that other stuff by, 75 employees or maybe 100 employees or something like that that's coming out of Tuskegee or whatever. 50 of them, however it go, they was going to get their money back. Win-win. Fair exchange, no robbery. In contrast with the emphasis placed on intellectual pursuits, by W.E.B. Du Bois and some other contemporary Black leaders, the curriculum at Tuskegee stressed manual training, industrial education, and useful crafts that will prepare students for jobs. Told you. Washington advocated a gradualist rather than a radical approach to improving conditions for blacks in the post-emancipation period, with hard work and self-help as the primary channels to economic and social advancement. This philosophy found ready acceptance among whites, both North and South, and among many blacks. It is not certain exactly how or when Washington got wind of Taylor's excellent record at MIT, but he was often on the lookout for qualified black students to recruit for leadership roles at Tuskegee. He had made a fundraising tour through New England as early as 1882 and quickly developed contacts within a number of organizations interested in educational work in the South. Among them were the Women's Home Missionary Association in Boston and the Women's New England Club. His trips were intended in part to establish a close relationship with wealthy, influential Bostonians who might contribute to the Tuskegee cause. You see what I'm talking about? Strategy. Yeah, jump out. You could jump out in Times Square, not Times Square, in Town Square and pop your shit about black this and black this and black that. Or you can go to particular cities where you know there's rich people at, that you may have some pull, and be able to be like, yo, listen, I know you don't want to be considered a racist, right? Well, how about you use the money that you are making and invest into a black school? It was about strategy. See, a lot of people, they like the strategy of white guilt, guilting white people and shit like that. That's something that they believe actually works and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Pulling at the heartstrings of white people and making them feel bad about your condition and have pity upon you. But Booker T. Washington was like, oh, nah, it's the complete opposite. I don't need your money whatsoever. You want to donate this money to me because of what we're producing. You want to be in on this. You, as far as your own lore, as far as your own history, as far as your own life, you want to be able to tell your grandkids that you donated to or invested in Tuskegee. Because we producing what we producing. Okay? So while we have, yes, we're producing employees, no doubt about it. They're being useful to their economy and their society. We're also producing business owners. We're also producing masters or titans of the industry. So you want to get in on this. If you truly don't have a racist bone in your body, don't worry about it. You feel me? On a social tip, let's get economic. Let's get institutional. The strategy makes so much sense. You feel me? So a lot of people don't like that approach because they think the radical approach of being able to jump out there and, you know, scream at people to fuck with you is going to be the the better strategy. I disagree wholeheartedly. Because you lose yourself when you do that shit. When you start to demand, and you're not demanding the same thing of yourself, and you're not demanding, you know, things that'll be worthy of your demands. You're not demanding of yourself of the things that would be worthy, you know, that would be consummate to what you're demanding from other people. Like, you are not holding yourself to that same standard. And that's where the beginning of the white man's ice being colder comes from. You demand from this external group, this white group or whatever, because you believe without it, you won't be able to compete. Booker T. Washington was like, yo, whether you motherfuckers give me money or not, Tuskegee is going to be here. However, because of what we're producing here, you want to get in on this. And thank you when you do. Thank you for the $10,000. Thank you for the $20,000. Thank you. You know, thank you. You're contributing to a good cause here. You're contributing to Tuskegee. So shout out to you. You did a great thing. But overall, dog, like, we were going to succeed regardless. And people respect that. That's the reason why celebrities get free shit. You ever notice that? How the richest people in the country be getting shit sent to them for free? I can tell you right now, I gave David Banner soaps for free. I gave Spitter soaps for free when I was selling soap. I gave mad different. I gave Stacey Dash soaps for free. Every celebrity that I came across when I was in Washington or when I was in my travels and I had my soap business, them celebrities got that shit for free. Just tell them that you got them from me. I gave Donald Trump Jr. free soap. Here you go. Let me take this picture with you, G. You feel me? Because the return that I'm going to get from you guys being able to support or promote me, it pays for itself. It only makes sense. So it's the same thing on Tuskegee or any other Black American institution. It's like, yo, you see how well we're doing. You want to contribute to that. It's not, oh, Tuskegee, we're down this year and, attendance is down, enrollment is down, and we need money. Nah, yo, listen, this is all the fly shit we got going on. We building this currently. We got the bricklaying this. We got the mason this. We got the carpentry this. We got all of this fly shit. Anybody who's anybody is fucking with us. You need to come fuck with us. That's what it was about. You understand? Let's get back to the chat. Let's see. Sammy says, thank you, dudes. This is what I was looking for. Perfect archived bookmark. I got you. Because I already know. I got you. Congratulations again. Sammy also says Booker T. Washington was a good wingman. That's a fact. I believe that. I believe that. What, man? Could you imagine going on a 2-man with Booker T. Washington? Oh, my God. Oh, my God, son. What? That's the most illest 2-man ever. Me and Book going to a speakeasy in Alabama? Man, listen. I'm about to get with... Yo, listen. Book. Sure, you see the 2 ladies over there checking us out? Son, walk over there, introduce yourself, and bring them back over to this section. And Book about to walk over there being like, good evening, ladies. Talk them up, being charismatic and laughing and all this other shit. And I'm sitting by the bar acting like I don't know this. You feel me? And Book come through with the 2 ladies like, yo, Hotep. This is Doris. This is Ethel. How do you do? Kissing on the hand and all that other shit. What your ladies drinking tonight? And that nigga Booker T. Washington talking them up the whole time we at the bar. Like, yeah, I'm building my little institute and all this other stuff. I got a bunch of kids, relying on me and all of that stuff. And they're like, oh my God, that's so interesting, Book. Oh my God. So is it like, can girls go to the school? You trying to go to my school? I mean, like, I'm already going to the Color Institute, but like the Tuskegee might be where I want to go. Like, I could build things. Like, oh yeah, what you know about? Now he started talking that technical shit. Like, yeah, what you know about masonry and Just like, oh my God, Book, you so smart. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in there just like, I'm just coasting. Like, yeah. So listen, like we pretty much business partners. Like, cause that's how I'm playing it. I'm playing it like, yeah, that's my man Book. Like, a lot of people call him Booker and all that, but I call him Book because he's smart like that. You know what I'm saying? And they like, oh my God, Hotep, you are so handsome and you are so funny. And I was like, yeah, like, yo, listen, Tuskegee is going to be huge. You know what I'm saying? It's just in the infant stage right now, but we already talking to, like, you ever heard of Carnegie? You ever heard of Andrew Carnegie? You ever heard of John D. Rockefeller? They like, you know them? I mean, chill. Like, yeah, we cool. Like, we send little letters. We send telegrams here and there and all of that. That's my guy. Like, I ain't going to sit here and act like we best of friends. But, yeah, I got Carnegie on the line. Like, me and Book, like, that's how we do. This is how we get, fun. We fundraise and all of that. We actually about to go to Boston. We got a trip. We about to go to Boston to pick up some bread. We going on a money run in Boston, where we only going out there, you feel me? We only going out there to pick up some money for some wealthy whites out of Boston. And they like, wait, you going all the way to Boston where it's mad racist and they about to give you money? Like, yeah. If you of service, you know what I'm saying? And you just hitting them to all of this game all night before you knew it, we slapping 5s. Yo, son, Book. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to go. You feel me? That's how it's supposed to go. I could go on the 2-man with Booker T, man, every weekend off of that. Oh, man. Let's get back to the chat. The chat flooded tonight. Sammy says, AKA history doesn't have to be boring. Creative license is welcome. Absolutely. Oh, for sure says I need the link to that children's book. Got you. I'll put it in the description of this video when it's over. Sammy says, honestly, most of the Hoteps are Northerners. I feel. Wait, hold on. Sammy says, honestly, most of the Hoteps are Northerners. I feel are not only smart, but also y'all are down to earth in ways that the Boule are not. Y'all have a good balance of relatability and uppity. That's a fact. Cause it's gonna be, I ain't gonna lie to you niggas. Like, I ain't gonna sit here and slum it with the intellectual, like, inept. But I'm not gonna fucking like shun you just because you're not as well versed or as smart as me. As long as you got a good heart, good integrity, dignity, you actually about to approach these conversations in good faith, you always gonna get respect out of me. You feel me? Even if you a little frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Me and Rashad, we been debating over the phone, and one little moment of the conflict, and it wasn't like a crazy debate. We talking about like politics and stuff like that. And he said something that I didn't necessarily appreciate on a personal level, and then I said something that he didn't appreciate on a personal level, and we immediately just say, yo, I said, first, like, listen, bro, like, if I offended you, I didn't mean that, da 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 da. And he said the same thing. And you know what? Took 10 seconds, 15 seconds, Rashad, 15 seconds. That's it. Out of our life to be like, yo, listen, my fault, cool. Keep it moving. So I'm not asking for perfection or none of that shit. It's just like, yo, it's just common decency, respect, honor. So I appreciate that, Sammy, because that's exactly what it is. Like, I'm going to always be down to earth. I'm still, a nigga from around the way for real. You know what I'm saying? But I also am not going to, undersell myself or be down on myself or talk down on myself based upon that. Like, I know where I come from, but I know where I'm at too. You know what I'm saying? I know that I'm a president of thousands of Hoteps across the country. That's my constituency, and I know the position that I'm in. You understand? So shout out to Sam for that. Sammy also says, Booker being able to understand some students would be owners and some would be workers, but all would be self-sustaining. Come on. That's a bar, Sammy. That's a bar. Because you can't sit there and act like every college graduate, especially with all of the degrees that W.E.B. Du Bois wanted y'all to have, was going to mean y'all was going to be these business owners. No. You were going to be a teacher at somebody else's school. You were going to be a doctor at somebody else's hospital. You were going to be a lawyer at somebody else's law firm. That's getting a job. Those are, good jobs. It's the same thing on the vocational and mechanical side and the industrial side. That's it. All walks of life. Everybody, it should have been like this, but these like this. And so, it is what it is. Crystal says, big book with the ultimate finesse. Man was not to be played with, had them looking like it's an honor for me to allow you to invest in us. You see? Do you see y'all understand the power of narrative and framing? Because if he would have put in that bitch and like, please, sir, if you can just invest a tiny amount to Tuskegee, we would greatly appreciate it. Like, nah, fuck all of that. Nah, I'm big motherfucking book. I built Tuskegee. Yeah, it look like this right now. But trust and believe, I know what I got. I know the power. I know the infrastructure. I know the institution that I got. You feel me? You're not about to tell me that I don't have what I have. You feel me? On my fork kick. Hold on, kick. I didn't even, come on, kick. Don't be mad. Don't be mad at me, kick. Hold on. Let me get to kick real quick. I'm sorry, kick. I have been neglecting kick. Damn. Oh, man. It's a lot going on at kick. Sorry, kick. Listen. Charge to my head, not my heart, kick. Listen. Hotep, you're on the Argentinian. Argentarian. Shout out. Says historical gems that are pertinent to modern day. Willie Will says that's how it should be now. Willie Will says, I'm here, dudes. I'm a white dude watching, Let me just donate because you were on point with the perspective about support. It's not about feeling like you should or you need to. It's because you want to. But you don't have to donate, but you don't have donates on Kick yet. I'll do it on YouTube. Shout out to Willie Will for that, man. Shout out to Willie Will for that, man. Absolutely. You see? You see how we do? That was because of Big Book. Me following Big Book's philosophy. We got a white man, Willie Will, donating or sending a super chat to Hotep History. Maybe the Hoteps got something to say. Maybe the Hoteps were right all along. The first slogan in Hotepistan history is Hotep's been told you. I tried to tell you something. Listen, I know what I'm doing, son. I know what I'm doing. I don't have to be this performative, power to the people type of black dude who don't really live it. All I got to do is study the ancestors, put the ancestors on Front Street, and anybody who rocks with this type of objective scholarship is going to rock with it, including Willie Will. Not only did he hit me on Kick and let me know that this is pertinent to today, he was like, yo, listen, man, based upon the lessons you teach on your platform and in your program, I'm going to throw in some cheese. Shout out to Willie Will for that. Shout out for Willie Will to not only embody my lessons when it comes down to fundraising and Booker T. Washington, but having these lessons resonate with you even as a white American man. Shout out to Willie Will. And shout out to any and everybody that's going to rock with Hotep History. You're all welcome here. You all welcome here. If you rocking with real black American history directly from the ancestors' primary source, you are welcome here. Come on through. Follow Willie and Who and everybody else who donate. Follow in their footsteps. Bert came through, became a member, and gives the super chats up. That's fire. That's fire. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get back to it. 50th episode. Let's go, episode 50. Okay. I gotta hurry up and finish this water so we can put the shot inside the mug. You feel me? So when YouTube asked me if I was consuming alcohol on stream, I could be like, nah, I was just drinking out of my mug. Okay. It is not certain exactly how or when Washington got wind of Taylor's excellent record. We read that already. We read that already. Okay. While in Boston, Washington lodged near the old MIT campus in Boylston, Clarendon, and Exeter streets. It was during one or more of these excursions that he and Taylor discussed the possibility of a role for Taylor at Tuskegee. Okay? What Washington had in mind was for Taylor to develop the nascent industrial program at Tuskegee and to plan and direct the construction of new buildings for the campus. Man, I don't want to pause again because we got to get to the other people. And we rocking until about midnight. But when it comes to this, man, I'll be trying to tell y'all. So we had the conversation, Rashad. I'm going to clip this up just for Rashad. We had the conversation about PWIs versus HBCUs and the viable and those, the viability of each institution for the best and the brightest of black Americans. As you can see, this black man, he went on to the PWI based on his excellence, MIT. But you know what he did after he gained his education? Brought it right back to the crib. Brought it right back to Tuskegee. And not only was he willing to, to do it, Booker T. Washington came to him like, yo, son, I'm hearing, because, again, I'm Booker T. Washington, bro. I don't miss much. As it pertains to black America, my nigga, I don't miss much. If you're doing anything great during the late 19th century, early 20th century, I've heard about you. Somebody wrote me a letter. I done read a news article about you. Somebody let me know that you exist. I'm Big Book. Of course I'm going to know about you. And from that point on, yo, I know you graduated. You ever thought about teaching at my school? Building at my school? Come on. Let me show you what we got. Let me show you my facility. Let me show you what we got going on in Alabama. Come on now. Let's see. I see. Oh no, so he was still in school. Taylor was still in school. Okay, let's see. Taylor seemed like an ideal recruit for several reasons. He was black, a Southerner, bright, a hard worker, and last but not least, the recipient of a sound education at the premier technical institute in the country, the best and brightest. Bring that shit on over to us. Bring that for the home team. You feel me? Taylor saw value in black American institutions. Taylor saw value in building up on black American educational institutions. He didn't get all of this MIT education and then become a white Bostonian or trying to intermingle and be a part of a particular group socially and then forget where he come from. Now you from down bottom just like us. You feel me? Come on through. You done made it. You feel me? From what was this, Wilmington? I forgot where he was from specifically, but you come from the South. You done went all the way up to Massachusetts to get this amazing education. Come bring that to the crib so we can start offering that type of education, and you can use your education to build on the campus. You can build buildings. You can use all of the architectural education that you got at MIT and actually express it on our campus. All right? Says the emphasis placed at MIT on applied practical aspects of science and engineering was more in line with the Tuskegee mission than, say, the focus on classical liberal arts education at Harvard. Ironically, W.E.B. Du Bois was beginning his doctoral studies in history at Harvard around the time that Washington and Taylor were discussing Taylor's possible move to Tuskegee. Ironic. Irony. This is what I'm talking about. While you over there, I was trying not to rant because we got to get through it. But while you was over there, okay, getting your doctoral studies and all of that shit at Harvard, you ain't build nothing at all. Just studying. But anyway, let's see. Taylor did not head directly to Tuskegee immediately after graduation. He may have worked during the summer of 1892 for an architectural firm in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, by his own testimony, he, quote, took up the practice of architecture and designed several private and public buildings. So this is him, like, let me get some work under my belt. You feel me? Let me pad my resume. Let me build my resume up. And I love how they're mentioning, like, he had a job. He got a job fresh out of college when he graduated, worked for an architectural firm. So as you can see, I love how this happened. So we just seen the videos of the young women studying a bunch of bullshit, majoring in a bunch of bullshit, and there's absolutely no job on the market that's going to serve them for their degrees, right? Now we juxtapose that with Taylor, who after getting his degree in architecture is working for an architectural firm in Cleveland, Ohio, as soon as he graduates. Building, you see what I'm saying? Several, he says, private and public buildings immediately after school. This is what happens when you go to school intentionally. You're not trying to fucking wing it and trying to figure it out when you're on campus. No, I'm going for architecture because men like me literally do not go to MIT. I'm not about to sit here, have the privilege and the opportunity to go to MIT and then fucking squander it and waste it because I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. You feel me? Like, that's how this shit go. For real, that's how this actually goes. Sorry, y'all. I'm just making sure that all my chats is up. So this is incredible. This story, when I be reading these stories, all it does is just confirm all of the things that I be feeling. Without, like, it's enough scholarship to infer, it's enough scholarship to imply or assume. And I ain't gonna sit here and lie and say all of my assumptions are correct. But like, yo, I'm batting at, like, I mean, my accuracy is like 95%. I'm not gonna hold you. Maybe at the lowest 90%. When I be getting to talking and assuming about the ancestors and shit like that, like, I've been assuming about Taylor's story. I didn't know who he was before tonight. I didn't know who Robert Robinson Taylor was before tonight. But based upon what I know about the ancestors, there's a particular through line. There's a particular through line socially, culturally, economically, politically, religiously, like all of these different things is the through line. Will there be some deviation off that through line? For sure. But for the most part, because of what I study and how I study it, yeah, it's going to align more often than it doesn't. Because I actually study the ancestors. I don't study history. I study the ancestors. Okay? Getting back to it. The encounters with Booker T. Washington in Boston, however, had inspired an interest in somehow combining architecture with a career in the field of education. Taylor had also received offers from 4 other schools to organize and direct industrial programs. Okay, let's see what we got. But Taylor has some hesitancy. Okay, he was more interested in going into business for himself than in teaching. Fairs. Finally, after a visit to the campus in Alabama, Taylor accepted the Tuskegee offer. This is what I'm talking about. Son. Y'all can't tell me shit about the ancestors. I want y'all niggas to know that shit. Y'all cannot tell me a motherfucking thing about the ancestors. They always gonna do the right thing. I'll give you another story about Tuskegee. George Washington Carver gets approached by Thomas Edison. The Thomas Edison. Thomas is like, yo, George, the shit you do agriculturally and scientifically, I can use your scientific mind in my company. Come and work for Edison Electric or whatever that shit was called. I will pay you handsomely. Do y'all want to know what Thomas Edison offered George Washington Carver as a yearly salary in the early 20th century? He offered to pay that man $60,000. That's not adjusted for inflation. And this is not coming from a secondary source. George Washington Carver himself said this. Thomas Edison offered to pay that man 60 grand a year, which adjusted for inflation, if I'm not losing my mind, was $1.5 million adjusted for inflation. George Washington Carver heard Thomas Edison, heard the offer, and was like, nah, I'm cool. Me teaching these babies at Tuskegee is more important than the salary that I can make working for you. That's what the ancestors chose. So when I get to talking and running my mouth about the ancestors, understand that I'm not talking out my ass. They made those decisions. George Washington Carver could have been living high on the hog off them Edison checks, man. 50, 60 grand a year, 1.5 million adjusted for inflation. What? Absolutely. He could have been, that's a cushy job. He not going to be in soil all day long, but he may. Come on. 60,000 in the 1870s is worth $1.48 million. So basically 1.5. You understand? And George Washington Carver looking at that shit and being like, nah, man. The young men and women that are in my class need me more than you need me. You can't find anybody like me, but you can find a close second. These kids, I'm worried about these kids. They need to know. Because if I can teach them if I can multiply me, that automatically sets the bar for the marketplace. If Thomas Edison is willing to pay George Washington Carver 50 to 60 grand a year, and then I have the minds of 30, 50, 100 kids, what does that say to the market? I can teach y'all how to be so valuable that somebody is willing to pay you that handsomely yearly. What I tell y'all the difference between Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. Book was a kingmaker. Don't rely on me. Only rely on me for what you don't have, which is the education, which is the facility, the institution to be able to learn this stuff. Once you learn it inside the institution that I've created for you, you need to be doing what the fuck I just did for you for somebody else with the skills that you've been able to gain inside my institution. W.E.B. Du Bois and them is like, nah, you got to go through me. I prefer it if you go through me. You want rights, you want privileges, you want this, you want that. Come through me. I'll correspond with the white man. The white man will correspond with me, and then I'll correspond with you and be able to pass down whatever I'm able to get. Booker T. Washington was like, yo, listen, learn the game and go play it. That's it. Learn the game from me and then go play it. That's how we gonna win. Y'all relying on me. I'm getting old. I'm not about to be here. George is old too. We gonna be old men. We need y'all to come pick up the mantle after we get the fuck up out of here. So I don't want y'all relying on me. Rely on yourself so that when the time comes for you to pay it forward, you are in the position to do so. Let's continue the story. So he accepted the offer. Oh man, oh man, we got to get to other stories, y'all. We do. It's already 11:10 and we know, because we're not going to get to the bottom of this page. This page is long. So let me just see. Yeah, oh, he has a long history. Look at this. So y'all know what this means. Robert is getting the video. Robert is definitely getting the video. He got a lot. I'm going to just base it off of this one page and then make a video for y'all. Okay, so here we go. To develop a sound curriculum at Tuskegee, both Washington and Taylor would look at MIT as a model. Come on, let's go. In 1894, Washington sought the advice of Ellen Swallow Pauls Richards, 1873. I guess that's the class of MIT she was from, on the matter of staff recruitment. Richards was MIT's first woman graduate, class of 1873, who became a member of the MIT faculty in 1878. I love that. I love graduating from a particular institution and be able to get a job there. That's dope. And created the first sanitary engineering laboratory in the United States. So Ellen is good people. And look who Washington be knowing, man. I would love to see Booker T. Washington's Rolodex, yo. I would love to see the people that was like, no, that's my man. Like, that's my homie for real. Like, I really rock with Big Book. I would love to see those people. You feel me? I would love to, like, yo, look at all of the people that, like, can say, yo, I know Booker T. Washington on a personal level. The first woman graduate of MIT is like this with Book. Come on, man. I'm sure she was a white woman too, right? I'm sure she was a white woman. Yeah. You feel me? And they ace booms. So anyway, Booker T. Washington says, just as in Massachusetts, they have the Institute of Technology and the Simmons Industrial School, so in the South, there should be the Atlanta University, the Tuskegee Institute, and others. There is a place for all of these institutions to do their work. I do not believe in placing any limitation upon the mental development of the black man. Where do y'all be getting these narratives about Book? Where do y'all be getting these negative narratives about Book? He just said, I don't believe in placing any limitation upon the mental development of the black man. So please tell me how he believed that, oh, he didn't like higher education, or he didn't like college, or he didn't like, yo, you are a liar from the pits of hell. You are a liar from the pits of hell, lying on Big Book like this. You're lying. Because he just said, I do not believe in placing any limitation upon the mental development of the black man. Anyway, near 1888, Richards joined other women, including the wife of a Harvard professor and Stella Horton Scott Gilman. Is that one? Damn, long ass name. A pioneer in women's education at Harvard, in urging Washington to establish at Tuskegee a department for the training of domestic servants. Taylor's own admiration for MIT as a model for Tuskegee's development would later be conveyed in a speech he would deliver at MIT in 1911 to celebrate the Institute's 50th birthday. Quote, the Institute has steadily advanced in power and influence. Its educational policy has served as a model for numerous similar institutions in the country and abroad. Okay, we're going to read this last one and we got to get to the next person. And I remember the chapel with its sweeping eaves, long and low as though risen bloody from the earth like the rising moon, vine covered and earth colored, as though more earth sprung than man sprung. Okay, cool little quote. Oh shit, what happened? Robert Taylor was the architect who, quote, earth sprung many of Tuskegee Institute's campus buildings before 1930, including the chapel, so vividly described by Tuskegee's alum Ralph Ellison in Invisible Man. Both the chapel and the literary work it inspired would be considered masterpieces of their respective creators. Look at what he built. So boom, he hires Taylor to come teach at Tuskegee, and look what one of the first thing he builds: the church. The church, because what did I tell y'all? When it came down to black towns, that's going to be the two buildings that you're going to see built first: a church and a school. Because when it comes down to the ancestors, that's the two most foremost things that they value: God and education. That's going to, in any black town, any average black town in the late 19th century, well, shit, all throughout the 19th century and the early 20th century, that is the two buildings, the main institutions that you're going to see be built first: a church and a school. A school and a church, whichever one comes first, but that's because the ancestors, okay, emphasized education, you feel me, and God. Trying to tell you. So that's what he built. I want to keep learning about Robert because he smoked it. But yeah, we got to move on to the next person. This was great. Let's get into William Sidney Pittman. Okay? Let's see if we can get a picture of him. Let's see if we can get a picture of the man. There we go. Yo, you really want the man if you ain't have if you really want the man if you didn't take a picture with this pose. I've noticed that. If you ain't hit him with this, if you ain't hit him with one of these, you wasn't really photographed like that. So that's William. So let's learn about William. For sure says, wait, is this the same Robert Taylor, like the Robert Taylor homes in Chicago? Oh my God. Is it? Nah, I can't be. That'd be crazy. Cause I know about the Robert Taylor homes, like because of Lupe Fiasco. Robert Taylor homes were completed in 1962, named after Robert Roshan Taylor, an African-American activist and member of the Chicago Housing Authority. Oh, okay. So no, not the same Robert Taylor. It was this Robert Taylor. No picture of him? Oh, man. That was a good question, though. I know about Robert Taylor homes based upon, what's that, Gold Watch by Lupe? From the Robert Taylor homes to Africa slum cities. That song. Yeah. I think that's Gold Watch. So let's learn about William. Okay. William Sidney Pittman, Black American architect, was born in Montgomery, Alabama on April 21st, 1875, to Sarah Pittman, a laundress, and an unknown father. Throughout his architectural career, he typically identified himself as W. Sidney Pittman. He attended Tuskegee, where he completed programs in woodwork and architectural mechanical drawing in 1897. He then entered Drexel Institute in Philadelphia, where he completed the architecture and mechanical drawing program in 1900. From late 1900 to 1905, Pittman worked at Tuskegee as head of the Department of Architectural Drawing, and drew plans for several campus buildings. Who does this sound like? This is what I'm saying, yo, son. This is what I am saying to you. Do y'all get it now? Do y'all get it now? Like, do y'all see the consistency? Do you see the ancestral Black American ethos working? We're not blind here. We're seeing it over and over again. Motherfuckers get their education at a white institute, get their education at a Black institute, and be able to go work for the Black institute, because we need to proliferate Black American institutions. This sounds like just a generation before Robert. He sounded like he did everything that Robert did, just went to a different school. Instead of going to MIT, he went to Drexel. Like, this is incredible, son. Like, y'all have to peep the patterns. Peep the patterns of the ancestors. I'm trying to tell you, we only 2 paragraphs in, and he sounds like exactly what Robert did. Incredible. Wait, hold on. Crystal says the Robert Taylor of Robert Taylor Homes was the son of Robert Taylor we just learned about, so they are connected. Word? Get out of here. Hold on, let's go back. Hold on. I didn't even do enough research then. Yeah. I didn't do enough research. Hold on. Let's go. Where the wiki at? There we go. Hold on. What? I've dead ass skipped it. First line. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Yo, listen, man. This is why I love the chat. Shout out to the chat. They brought me back. They was like, no. You left that too quick, OG. Hold on. Oh, my goodness. Absolutely connected, because that's his boy. Wow. That is incredible. Man, I love history so much, y'all. Y'all have no idea. I'm hype. Episode 50. We in this motherfucker, man. Let's get back. Shout out to Crystal and O for show for that one. That was good. Thank you. We were not off track whatsoever. Oh, for sure. Hit us with the question. They were 1,000% connected. Okay. Let's see. He was also responsible for overseeing all campus construction. Pittman left Tuskegee in 1905 and shortly thereafter established his own private architectural practice in Washington, D.C. In 1906, he was commissioned to prepare a design and construction documents for the Negro Building at the Jamestown Exposition, the World's Fair held in Virginia in 1907. He was the first Black American architect to receive a federal contract. Come on. This project raised his profile as an architect and brought Pittman many commissions, including schools, a town hall, and the 12th Street YMCA building, which still stands in Washington, D.C. Pittman gained recognition as one of the most accomplished Black architects in America. He was also involved in community development in Fairmount Heights, Maryland, where he lived. Pittman organized and was elected president of the Fairmount Heights Improvement Company, an investment organization geared toward fostering an alternative to the inner city ghetto. So again, he is using his skills as an architecture to be able to say, hey, listen, I have an investment firm. Put your dollars behind us and we'll be able to build up beautiful Black American neighborhoods and not ghettos. He was the president of the Heights Citizens Committee and the Washington chapter of the Negro Business League, for which he edited the Negro Business League Herald. Oh my God. I want y'all to see just how intrinsically tied Booker T. Washington is when it comes to this stuff. The National Negro Business League, you already know, is Booker T. Washington. The Negro Business League Herald, I don't know if he founded that, but I know it's in the orbit of Booker T. Washington. You feel me? Excuse me. And he was the president of the Washington chapter of the Negro Business League. Like, you can't create a chapter of the National Negro Business League without having correspondence with Booker T. Washington first. Okay? Did he build this? Oh my goodness. The Pythian Temple in Dallas, courtesy of George W. Cook. Okay. In 1907, Pittman married Portia Washington, a music teacher and the daughter of Booker T. My God. My God. Nah, son. No. I'm trying to tell y'all. Do y'all not see? Listen, man. Listen. Oh, my God. This nigga married her. Oh, my God. He married his daughter. Like, come on, son. This is incredible. We only 3 people in, 4 people in, however many people. Like, come on, son. Come on. Oh, that's crazy, son. I love my job so much. Nights like this is really, let's get to it. Let's get back to the story. This story is amazing. Come on. So, music teacher and the daughter of Booker T. Washington, founder and principal of Tuskegee Institute. In late 1912, the Pittmans moved to Dallas, where they raised 2 sons and a daughter. So these is Booker T. Washington's grandkids. After a short stay at their address, the family moved to another address, because I don't be like reading all these addresses, where Pittman operated his architectural practice from his home. Working from the crib. He was the first practicing black architect in Texas. Come on. During this period, many black American architects focused on designing churches because those institutions were among the few that could afford to pay an architect. Come on. However, Pittman was able to broaden the scope of his work beyond churches to include civic structures, manufacturing plants, structures for higher education, and fraternal buildings. So, yes, he did build this building. He did build this building. He did build this building. These niggas wasn't building no rinky-dink nothing. This was a temple for a fraternal order, the Knights of Pythias or Pythian. I don't know what the Y is long or short, but yes, this is what he built. Oh my God, son. Oh my goodness. I don't know. This is why they kept this from you, man. This is why they kept this from you. They did not want you to have the pride that's flowing through your body right now, son. Because if you was 9 years old learning about this shit and the interconnectivity between Tuskegee, Booker, and all these other industrious and vocational men and all this other shit, you would have no choice but to be inspired to be a great black American. You would have no choice. Yo, make sure y'all retweeting this one. Make sure y'all retweeting this one. This is my favorite so far. Not gonna hold you. I've been here for every episode. And I'm telling you, this one right here is the one. This one right here is the one. This is the one. Let everybody know about this one. You feel me? Not to say that I'm not proud of all the other ones, because y'all done came through like the O for shows, the Sammys, the Crystals, the Memphises, the Coach Glasgow's, Scruggs, all my day ones. Like, y'all know y'all been rocking with me for 50 episodes straight. But this one, these stories, man, come on. Let's see. During his 16-year practice in Dallas, he designed several major projects in the city, as well as buildings in Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, Waco, and Waxahachie. Okay, 5 of his known structures still stood in 2020. Okay, which included the Allen Chapel AME Church in Fort Worth, the Pythian Temple in Dallas, the Joshua Chapel AME Church in Waxahachie, St. James AME Church in Dallas, and Wesley Chapel AME Church in Houston. So he all over Texas. He all over Texas. Shitting me? Look at what he built. Look at these buildings, fam. These ain't no little 1-2 story joints. These is 3, 4, 5, 6 stories. Look at how illustrious these buildings are. 1923. So why they get to tell you about Jim Crow? This is what your ancestors was doing while Jim Crow was happening. Why they try to inundate you and bombard you with photos of lynchings and those other shit. This was what the fuck was happening. This is the heart of the South. This is in Texas. I'm sure a lot of lynchings went down in 1923 in Texas. We can look it up right now. But this was also going on in Texas. Which events do the babies need to know more of or know more about? How racist Texas was, or how lit Black American Texans were in that same era? And that's why y'all come over to Hotep History. If this is your first time watching Hotep History, this is how we give it up 3 times a week. Every week. Next week, we're going to have 3 more days of fire-ass shit. Subscribe to the Patreon right now, because you'll be able to pick what we're going to talk about. I want you to know, you see how plain the title is, Black American Architecture. That's it. But look what we find when we start digging and start uncovering, lifting up rocks, peeling back the layers. Come on. Let's see what we got. Looks like towards the end. All of Pittman's other known buildings in Texas have been demolished. Haters. The colored Carnegie Library of Houston was torn down in 1962 to yield to a freeway. The United Brothers of Friendship Hall of San Antonio and Pittman's residence designed for John P. Starks in Dallas also fell to freeway construction. The girls' dormitory on the campus of Paul Quinn College in Waco was destroyed by a fire in 1954. Fire also took 2 Dallas buildings, the Riverside Park Auditorium in Dallas in 1930, and the West Texas Manufacturing Company in 1923, which housed a soft drink production plant and other businesses in 1941. In Houston, the 5-story Grand United Order of Odd Fellow Negroes Lodge building was constructed from Pittman's plans in 1924. It later housed the headquarters of the Atlanta Life Insurance Company. And we learned about him, right? Alonzo Herndon. Okay. But was raised in 1982 to make way for parking and annex space for the Alley Theater. Okay, the colored Carnegie Library of Houston and the Pythian Temple of Dallas were acclaimed across the United States in newspapers and magazines. The library was the first one for blacks in Houston. You know what I'm saying? The Pythian Temple was almost totally financed by the black citizens of Dallas and built by the black-owned Walton Construction Company. Y'all, man, y'all don't understand, man. Y'all don't understand. They did not tell y'all these stories on purpose, yo, because they knew that you were going to do the same thing, but better. They knew that you guys were going to get inspired by these stories in the 3rd grade, in the 4th grade, in the 5th grade, learning about this stuff, and you would have become an architect. You would have become the next Robert Taylor. You would have become the next William Pittman. You would have. You would have became Vertner Tandy. You would have. Because all of these stories have inspired the hell out of me, and I don't have any plans of becoming an architect. But if I was 8 years old and I learned about a fat, light-skinned nigga that looked kind of like me building a mansion for a woman that I did learn about. I learned that Madam C.J. Walker was rich. Rich people live in mansions. Who built her mansion? Let's get back to the story, man. I love my job so much. Both structures were presented as examples for other Black Americans to emulate. I swear to y'all, I know it be seeming like I be stopping myself right before I stop myself, say something, and then the next sentence that I read from the article just pretty much corroborates what I just said, but I promise I don't be planning that shit. I don't read ahead. I really don't. I be forgetting the fucking where I'm at in the paragraph sometimes. But both structures were presented as examples for other Black Americans to emulate. That was the point, man. I want you guys to know, if you don't remember nothing that I tell y'all, when it comes down to Black American progress, Black American ability, they did it so you can copy them. They did it so you can copy them, so you can do exactly what they did in your own little way. But yo, listen, these buildings still stand today. These are over 100-year-old buildings, and they still stand today. These were not rinky-dink structures, fam. They were built to last. And they did it so you can take it further. Yeah, my building's dope, but I only built it to facilitate whatever I was facilitating contemporarily, but also mainly to inspire your ass, your little ass, child, to look at this big ass building and be inspired to do the same and better. I want you guys, I have to drive this home for you guys. I cannot stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. They did it for you. The ancestors did all of this stuff for you. They wanted you to see yourself in all of this greatness and not ever, ever, ever be down on yourself. Ever think that you second class or secondary. No. You're amazing. And if I can do it, coming out of slavery, if I can do it, being emancipated or being, born free right before, right after slavery was abolished. And yo, listen, I don't have an iPhone, young brother. I don't even know what that is. I don't have high-speed internet, whatever that is. I don't have any of this. All I have is brick and mortar. All I have is brick, mortar, some blue paper, and some white chalk. And we about to get to it. You got entire apps now that allow you to design. You have AI that can help you design buildings. Man. They were benchmarks for Texas and the United States. In late 1923, Pittman helped organize and become president of the Brotherhood of Negro Building Mechanics in Texas, using the group as a platform to advocate that all Black Americans use only Black labor in business in order to promote the advancement of the race. Yo, son. Yo, son. I love my job so much because I don't have to make nothing up. I don't have to make nothing up, man. This is legit what the ancestors already said, son. This is what we're doing, fam. We doing it. Look at all of the different groups that the ancestors make. The Brotherhood of Negro Building Mechanics. Like, y'all don't get it. Not y'all in the chat. Not y'all. We've been talking all night. But these people, y'all don't get it. If y'all really understood this, again, I didn't know anything about this shit. I had the pride. I had the confidence. I had the love. I had the reverence for the ancestors. Hours, days, months, years before tonight's broadcast. But you watched in real time that love, respect, reverence, and everything else, confidence go up just based upon reading a few articles. I already had this type of love and all of that, but it's been maximized. It's been built upon, no pun intended, just based upon reading about the ancestors, studying their ancestors. We're not studying we're not studying Black history. No, we're studying, okay, Vertner W. Tandy. We're studying Robert R. Taylor. We're studying Philip Sidney Pittman. That's what we're doing. We're studying the ancestors. That's why I'll be trying to tell y'all the difference between studying history and studying the ancestors. Because look how much you learn. This is one man's life. Look how much you learn. This man married Booker T. Washington's daughter, fam. Oh, my goodness. I'm so hyped right now. We're going to take another shot break. Yeah. We're going to take another break for the shot. Episode 50, man. Cheers. Cheers, man. Let's get to the chat, man. The chat is booming. Crystal says, shout out to Fairmount Heights, Maryland. That's that PG County greatness. Heard you. I was out there a few times when I was going door to door. Crystal says, it's not lost on me that's the churches seem to be the ones that survived and still stand. God is good. There's a lesson in that. You know how many lessons we done uncovered in just covering a few men's stories? You know how many morals of the story that we could come away with, sticking with your own, being able to reinvest in your community, being able to be ingenuitive, there are so many different morals of these stories that you can pull from. One of them being God first. One of them being that the churches, despite all of the other ones falling or being demolished or being cut down before a highway or a freeway or some shit like that, the Black church is still standing in 2025. Take your ass to church. Put God back in your life. That's one of the lessons. Let's see. For sure with the fire emojis. That's a fact. Sammy says, natural question at a young age would be how were highways built through these buildings? We rebuilt the cities where there were riots. We had no recourse on the government highway projects. So now in 2025, we have eminent domain lawyers. A lot of people right now are seeking out those people's help because the government is coming through, trying to take old land and stuff like that to be able to build and develop on. So there is an entire sect of law now that's specifically catered to eminent domain cases. Back then, eminent domain was literally the trump card for the government. Eminent domain, this is ours now. I know you done spent decades building this shit up, generations building this shit up, but we got the I-95 that we want to put through this motherfucker, and you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But because that was the death knell for Black Wall Street. Everybody talks about 1921. It was a 2-day riot. You imagine a city falling, the entire city falling after rioting for 2 days. Nigga, motherfucking Black Lives Matter protests from 2014 to 2025 did more damage. Now niggas love to talk about that white supremacy shit. What about you niggas burning down your own goddamn cities, your own damn neighborhoods? Y'all love to talk about Black Wall Street. Y'all love to talk about how the white man burnt down your neighborhoods and shit like that. And that's such an affront to Black American excellence and Black American advancement. But a cracker do something, make you upset. Now you doing the same shit the crackers did. Do y'all not see how y'all be upholding white supremacy by thinking you're pro-Black and being unapologetically Black? So on one hand, you upset my contemporaries. You're upset that the white man came through and burnt down Black Wall Street. And then on the other hand, because you're mad that they burnt down Black Wall Street, you about to burn down your shit. Anyway, don't get me to ranting. Man, we about to be 1:45. We ain't get to. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I know I was yapping, but geez, tonight has been such a blessing to me. Oh man, let's see. Sammy says that would naturally lead to desires for involvement and protections via local government, preventing that from reoccurring. Absolutely. because the ancestors were always solution oriented. Oh, for sure says we need to get back to what the ancestors. We need to get back to what the ancestors set up for us. We strayed too far. That's a fact. We've gone way too far. We started listening to all our little commie friends, our socialist friends, our Marxist friends, our anti-capital friends that were like, oh, the system and all of this other stuff. It's like, yo, what are you talking about, man? My ancestors, my father, my great-grandfather, whoever built this building that you standing in front of, that you protesting in front of, man. You think he had time to be listening to motherfucking the fucking manifesto of communism and shit like that? You think he gave a fuck about what Karl Marx thought at a time like that? No. Give a fuck about Karl Marx and Engels? Fuck them. Niggas is from Germany. I'm a black American. I ain't listening to them. Straight up. The ancestors ain't had no goddamn time to be listening to no Marxists. Man. Anyway. Crystal says, Sammy, they damn near don't want to acknowledge that the many of the cities were rebuilt after the riots. Year that Tulsa was rebuilt after the riots. Yeah. Crystal says, I did not learn until this year Tulsa was rebuilt, and that's thanks to press. Salute, Crystal. Yeah, man, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. Because that's the main story that these contemporary Negroes will use as a reason to not do anything. Oh, they burnt it down. They burnt it down. You don't even know that in 4 years' time they completely restored it. Y'all base a town's entire history on a 2-day riot. And we done rioted for years. I remember the first riot in 2014, 2015. I remember. And now we're in 2025 going into 2026. Y'all still burning shit down. Y'all still tearing shit up. You feel me? Oh, chat, if you was here on the last stream and we were talking about Black American medicine, right? And we found out about Dr. Rebecca Crumpler, right? And remember the article that we talked about it, right? Y'all remember the article? Look. Y'all remember Fake History Hunter? They retweeted it. They liked it. So look, man, connections are being made. Fake History Hunter is aware of Hotep history. We getting out there. I'm trying to tell you, Hotep history is here to stay. This will be a household name. Household name. We building over here. Don't trip. When our motherfuckers be looking at the numbers and all of that other shit, yeah, it's small right now, but trust and believe there will be thousands of people in the chat. And y'all will be the founding chat members. Sammy, Crystal, for show. Like I said, Memphis, Scruggs, Coach Glasgow, Bert. All of y'all that been rocking with me from episode 1 to now, y'all gonna be in the rafters as far as Hotep history goes. Y'all done came through for me. So listen, when all of the thousands come through, the hundreds come through, when we in this bitch and it's mad of us in here, trust and believe I'ma remember. I study too much history to forget y'all. And I'm not even trying to be on some funny shit. I really want y'all to know that I appreciate that shit. We got 92 people in the building on Twitter. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Twitter, do me a favor. Go to my page right now. Click the link in the bio. And do whatever is necessary after you click it. Do the necessary thing. Do the right thing. This is how we talk. This is how we talk. You feel me? Come on through. Shout out to Fake History Hunter for tapping in with the people. For tapping in with Hotep history. All I did was mention them. I don't even know how they found me. All I did was mention them in my video. So shout out to them, man. We getting to it. Let's get back to the chat, because we about to end it, man. I ain't gonna lie. I gotta find a hotline too. I gotta figure out a hotline to be able for y'all to call in. Because I know y'all be just as hype as me. Sammy says, likewise, Crystal. That makes it's so bittersweet. It's sweet. You know what I'm saying? It's sweet because I'm proud that I'm able to bring that, but it's bitter that your contemporary, instead of an adult, had to teach y'all that. They tell us about Black Wall Street all of the time, and it's a perfect microcosm to why Hotep history exists. Is because Black Wall Street was founded in 1905 by O.W. Gurley. 2 days in 1921 defines the entire history of the town. 2 days. Imagine you live this long life from birth to 80 years old, and the only thing motherfuckers want to keep bringing up as it pertains to your legacy is 2 days out of your life. 2 random days out of your life where some crazy shit happened. That's so egregious. And it's unacceptable. Crystal says, I just ordered Dr. Crumpler's book today. That's what's up. Sammy says, nice. We'll be getting a lot more likes in due time. I'm glad. I'm happier the way that you worded that, Sammy. I like that you worded it that way. You being my, adjusted for inflation calculator, Crystal being my assistant researcher, you guys working together. Like, this is us. You feel me? Like, you guys don't understand how much I appreciate y'all and how y'all come through for Hotep history week in and week out. Monday, I will be here, 8 o'clock. Matter of fact, let me ask y'all, should I start earlier? Should we start earlier than 8? Let me know how y'all feel about that. How would y'all feel if I started at like 5, 6? Huh? I'll still stream until midnight, but now we got 7 hours. Now we got 6 hours. We can really get to it. Let me know how y'all feel about that in the chat. You dig? Willie Will says, I don't do social medias. I'm going to stay in the dark, but I do what I got to do, say what needs to be said. For sure. Shout out to you, Will. I appreciate you, man. You feel me? What if we started at 5, 6 o'clock instead of 8? Huh? So we not, we'll stay up to midnight, but, we'll have more time on the airwaves. Oh, man. We got so many more people to talk about. No, we only got 2. So let's get to Clarence Cap Wigington. Okay? Let's get the Cap. The topic for tomorrow's podcast, Hotep History Podcast, hosted by me and none other than Hotep Mac. We're talking protest versus pragmatism. Protest versus pragmatism. Okay? Reverend Joseph H. Jackson versus Martin Luther King. Booker T. Washington versus W.E.B. Du Bois. Frederick Douglass versus Martin Delany. We going to talk about it. What's more viable for solutions? Radical, protests, or pragmatic gradualism? There's pros and cons to both. Nothing is perfect. Both of them have pros, both of them have cons. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Come through. 2 o'clock. We're not doing noon anymore. Especially right now because I'm drinking. I'm going to definitely want to get my sleep. So we're going to do tomorrow at 2. Okay? 2 o'clock p.m. You feel me? But yes, tomorrow's episode is about pragmatism versus protesting. Protesting versus pragmatism. Which side do you stand on? Should we be more like Martin Luther King and W.E.B. Du Bois? Or should we be more like politically? Should we be more like Booker T. Washington and Reverend Joseph H. Jackson? That's what we're going to be getting into tomorrow. Okay? I hope Rashad is there. Me and Rashad, that's what we've been having a debate all week about. So I would love for him to come up there so we can have it out in public. So everybody's saying I should start earlier. All right, so cool. New time for Hotep History coming into next week. We starting at 6. Yeah, we starting at 6, man. 6 p.m. Monday. Meet me there. Excuse me, beat me there. Don't meet me there. Monday at 6. Monday at 6. Oh, for sure said that we should start earlier. And then Sammy just said 6 or 7 works better. Monday through Thursdays. I got to clock out by 11 at the latest. So, listen. That's fine. That's fine. I listen to the people. I ain't got no problem. Okay? I ain't got no problem. I'll get the show ready for y'all by 6. So let's get into this last story before we go to bed. Okay? Cap Wigington. You feel me? Cap Wigington. Let's see. On this date in 1883, I don't know what the date is. Oh, April 21st. Wasn't somebody else born April 21st too? Wasn't William? I'm getting sidetracked. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, he was born April 21st as well. Look at the continuity tonight. This is crazy. You would have thought I orchestrated this shit hours ago. I didn't. This is all the ancestors. Crystal, I have not. I've been waiting to just have all of the episodes come out because I'm doing a whole review of it. So just wait on it. My review of the MLK project will be coming. It more than likely will be coming in November. Stay tuned. I'm a huge fan of Chad O. Jackson. He's the one who put me on to Joseph H. Jackson. So yeah. Uh-oh, did I spill the beans on somebody else? Oh, sorry. Let's get back to Cap. Sorry. Little spoiler alert. It was cool. On this date, in 1883, the birth of Cap Wigington is marked. He was a black municipal architect. Clarence Wesley Wigington, his name at birth, was from Lawrence, Kansas. You know who else was from Lawrence, Kansas? Junius G. Groves. But anyway, his family soon moved to Omaha, where he was raised in North Omaha's Walnut Hill neighborhood. At age 15, he graduated from Omaha High School. Look how early they be graduating. Wigington left in Omaha Art School in 1902 to work for Thomas R. Kimball, then president of the American Institute of Architects. After 6 years, he started his own office. I'm sorry, can't act like we didn't just read that. He tried to do the art thing. He tried to be an artist. Realized that was some bullshit and was like, you know what? Let me get out of this shit and get into architecture. You understand? That's what I be talking about, son. Let's see. In 1910, the U.S. Census listed Wigington as one of only 59 African Americans or Black Americans, architects, artists, and draftsmen in the country. While in Omaha, Wigington designed the Broomfield Row House, Zion Baptist Church, the second St. John's African Methodist Episcopal Church building, and several other single and multiple family dwellings. After marrying Viola Williams, Wigington received his first public commission to design a small brick potato chip factory in Sheridan, Wyoming. Okay? He ran the establishment for several years. As senior architect for the city, Wigington designed schools, fire stations, park structures, and municipal buildings. Aside from his work in Omaha, Wigington also designed the building originally hosting the North Carolina State University at Durham. Listen, man. North Carolina State University, fam. A black man. Oh, you have no idea, man. Let's finish this so we can go to bed. It was in St. Paul, Minnesota, where Wigington created a national reputation. He moved. So he did all of that in North Carolina. He did all of that shit in Omaha. But it wasn't even till he got to Minnesota to where he got a national reputation. He moved there in 1914 and by 1917 was promoted to senior architectural designer for the city of St. Paul. During the 1920s and 30s, Wigington designed most of the St. Paul public school buildings, golf clubhouses, fire stations, park buildings, and airports for the city. He built the fucking... Man, if y'all don't put fucking respect on the ancestors' name from here on out, if you are under the sound of my voice, I don't want to hear you motherfuckers speak another nasty, disparaging, discouraging, negative word about the ancestors. This nigga built St. Paul, Minnesota. He built that. That's him. You look around St. Paul, that's Cap. That's Wigington. That's Cap Wigington. That's his city. Come on, man. Let's see. Other Wigington structures include the Highland Park Tower, the Holman Field Administration Building, and the Harriet Island Pavilion, all now listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. Wigington also designed monumental ice palaces for the St. Paul Winter Carnival in the 1930s and 40s. Nearly 60 Wigington design buildings still stand in St. Paul. Almost 60 buildings. Oh my God, son. I have never been so proud to be Black American than I am right now. I'm trying to tell you something. Yeah, maybe the 50th episode and us celebrating. Cheers to the ancestors, man. One more time. Spicy. Let's see. But 60 was but they include the notable Highland Park Clubhouse, Cleveland High School, Randolph Heights Elementary School, and the downtown St. Paul Police Station, in addition to the Palm House and the Zoological Building at the Como Park Zoo. 4 of his buildings are recognized by listing on the National Register of Historic Places. He was among the 13 founders of the Sterling Club, a social club for railroad porters, bellboys, waiters, drivers, and other black men. He founded the Home Guards of Minnesota, an all-black militia established in 1918 when racial segregation prohibited his entry into the Minnesota National Guard during World War I. You feel me? He created his own militia that we had a whole episode about black militias. And look, man, take a shot, man. Take a shot for the ancestors, man. Oh, shit. Let's finish this off, man. That's crazy. He created the Home Guards of Minnesota. They got their own page. I don't even want to click it because if I click it, we're going to be learning about that. We got to keep it concise. As the leader of that group, he was given the rank of captain, from which the nickname Cap originated. Renamed to honor Wigington in 1998, the Harriet Island Pavilion is now called the Clarence W. Wigington Pavilion. You're goddamn right it is. His architectural legacy constitutes one of the most significant bodies of work by a black American architect. After retiring from the city of St. Paul in 1949, Wigington began a private architectural practice in California. Soon after moving to Kansas City, Missouri, he died July 7th, 1967. Man, listen, yo. Fuck it. We already passed 12. We might as well do the last tab. 9 places that illustrate the life of trailblazing black architect Paul R. Williams. Let's get into it, man. We might as well just finish. Let's end on a high note, man. All right. During Hollywood's golden age, Paul Revere Williams was its starchitect. Okay, starchitect. Okay, not just an architect, a starchitect. designing glamorous homes for Lucille Ball. That's Lucy. I love Lucy. And her husband, Desi Arnaz, Frank Sinatra, and other celebrities. However, overt racial discrimination was also reality throughout much of his 5-decade-long career. As a high school student wishing to study architecture, Williams faced what he called, quote, the blank wall of discouragement. Undeterred, he redoubled his efforts to pursue an education, studying at the University of Southern California and other institutions. He also worked in the office of landscape architect and urban planning, he also worked in the office of landscape architect and urban planner Wilbur D. Cook, and was mentored by architect Reginald Johnson. Okay, certified as a building contractor and trained in Beaux Arts architecture. I keep seeing that, the Beaux Arts architecture. Williams was adept at interpreting period styles. You feel me? He also gained renown for his extraordinary attention to detail and personalized elements. He had to put his white clientele at ease by learning how to draw upside down so he could sketch a design across the table rather than sitting next to them. This is crazy. In 1923, he launched his own practice, became the first Black American member of the American Institute of Architects, and quickly rose to the top of his chosen profession. In addition to his well-known residential work, he also created many distinctive commercial and institutional buildings. Quote, his brilliance comes through in the sheer diversity and range of his work, but also in his ability to negotiate relationships and his grit and his persistence, says LaRon P. Brooks, associate curator at Getty Research Institute, which, together with the USC School of Architecture, recently acquired Williams' archive. Williams overcame the legal, social, professional, and institutional barriers that prevented many Black Americans from entering the field of architecture. My hope is that scholarship from the archive will flesh out the loud nuances of Williams' life so we can better understand his contributions to the field and the scale of his imagination. End quote. A prolific architect, Williams designed more than 3,000 buildings before his death in 1980. His touch is evident at the 5-star Beverly Hills Hotel. The cursive lettering on its iconic sign is based on his own handwriting. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. It's fine. Y'all not about to see me drunk on stream. We about to get out of here soon. I don't do the public drunkenness. I'm trying to tell you. Hold on now. I'm alone. Let me take another one. Drinking liquor out of mug. Listen, hired to revive the hotel's allure after the Great Depression. So listen, the crackers didn't know how to do it. They couldn't get it done. They didn't know what to do. We going through a depression. Nobody got no money. Let's call Paul up. Let's call Paul Revere Williams up and being like, Yo, listen. People are insecure about their bread right now. People don't know what to do. How about you come on through, jazz it up like how you Negroes do. Y'all love jazzing shit up. Come on through, and we'll be able to pay you handsomely. You feel me? Let's see. Williams infused the spaces with flair. His designs were known for their graceful, curving lines in connection with the outdoors. The Fountain Coffee Room, with its long, swooping counter, is a highlight. Today, the hotel's Paul Williams Suite, which retains the architect's original design, gives guests an idea of what it would be like to live in one of his houses. Yet, when he was working on the hotel in the 1940s, he wasn't even allowed to stay overnight or even eat by the pool because of his race. Look at that shit. You feel me? Look at that shit. Still holding it down though. Like y'all motherfuckers, y'all don't really fuck with me, but I'm great at what I do. So there's no reason for me to be insecure. You motherfuckers are just racist, and y'all not going to be able to really fully realize your full potential because you're bigots. Yeah, I understand. When it comes to racism, yo, that shit is largely based in like jealousy, envy, you feel me? And an obsession. An obsession to to black American life, black American ability, black American thoughts, and black American behaviors. Like you gotta understand that. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, back. Okay. About a 20-minute drive east of the hotel is the Lelstokow House in LA's Windsor Square. Williams designed the Tudor-style home in 1923, and its stepped bank of windows follows the home's grand staircase. Not far from here is Williams' own home at the entrance to the semi-gated neighborhood of Lafayette Square. Built in the early 1950s, its modern lawns show how his architecture evolved with the times. Quote, "It was such an elegant home. There was no wasted space," says Karen E. Hudson, Williams' granddaughter, who grew up nearby and later lived in the house for many years. "I think designing timeless homes for families was so important to him, in part because he was an orphan." Damn. You feel me? The recent documentary, The Hollywood's Architect, The Poor R. Williams Story, available on blah, blah, blah. We don't plug. Ooh. Look at his crib. This is fire. That's the reason why motherfuckers wasn't giving a fuck about none of that shit. Like, oh, yeah, I can't stay by the pool. Nigga, look at my crib. Care about your fucking pool? Care about your fucking hotel, nigga? What Crystal say? Paul was like, just run me my check. I got it. Like, just run me my check. I ain't gotta stay. Now you got me reading. I'm a little tipsy, but Crystal, you goddamn them typos. But I get what she's saying. Run me my check and I ain't even gotta stay at the hotel. I got it. Let's finish up. A number of his other LA houses have been demolished or renovated beyond recognition. Most recently, Eva Gabor's former residence in Holmby Hills. Quote, "Even though his homes are coveted, there are people who don't appreciate them." Shocker, says Adrian Scott Fahn, director of advocacy at the Los Angeles Conservancy. Quote, "We'd love to see some sort of blanket approach to designing and protecting his work at the city level, because one-offs are not getting the job done. He's LA's beloved homegrown architect." Located on a prominent corner in the West Adams district, the 6-story Golden State Mutual Life Insurance building shows another side of the architect's work. We gotta look at some of this shit, cause I ain't gonna lie. Let's see. Oh, he built this shit? Wow. Okay, which one is it? Is it this one or this one? Or is it both? Okay, hold on. Let me go back to the article. We on cap. No, we not on cap no more. Another side of the architect's work. So this is what he did. Okay. So 6-story. So it got to be this one. 6 stories, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. This is going to be the 6-story joint. And it's still it still lives on today. Yeah, man. Whose bright idea was to take shots for the 50th episode? Huh? Whose bright idea was this? So this is a black man's creation. Okay? This is a black man's creation right here. Mm. 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 Yeah, while that loading up, we're going to X this out and get back to it. Oh, my God. Founded in 1925, the black-owned company was one of the first in LA to offer life insurance to black people who are often denied coverage by white-owned companies. Again, shocker. In Williams' handsome late modern design from 1949, the lobby includes two large murals that depict Black history in California. A small plaza added during a 2015 renovation commemorates Williams and the company's history. So this is the inside. Ooh, okay, yeah, yeah. We about to get to it. Let me finish this so we can properly shit. Rashad, let's see. Nearby is the strikingly domed Founders Church of Religious Science. Science is crazy. Science is crazy. Science is absolutely crazy, Hotep. Come on now. Get it together, brother. Founders Church of Religious Science. Science was nasty. Oh, come on. Now I can't highlight properly. We not about to act like I'm that impaired. We not about to do that. Hold on. I can't believe I done got drunk on stream. Y'all are terrible people. And now the computer want to act slow at the same time. All right, man, whatever. In Koreatown, Williams was a friend of the church's minister, William Hornaday, who told Williams that he didn't, quote, want any corners that the devil could hide in. That's cool. Oh, now you want to, okay. Oh, this is the dome. Okay, this is the dome. He built this. Yo, he was smoking shit, son. All right. Willie Will says, gotta dip, tired as hell. Have a good night, y'all. Keep the history alive. That's a fact, Willie Will. Shout out to Wills, man. Love. All right, let's finish this up, y'all, because, hey, people tired. We got the let out. People paying on the way out. Like, all right, man, y'all got it. It's late. Let's see. Completed in 1960, the Oval Building gathers up the large congregation in a cozy semicircle with a wide curved balcony. The church received a $50,000 grant from the National Trust African American Cultural Heritage Action Fund earlier this year. One of Williams' first major commissions, the 28th Street YMCA in South LA, dates to 1926. Built as separate facilities, Jesus Christ. Let me pour another drink. Jeez Louise, y'all. Y'all doing a lot, man. Y'all. Cheers, man. Let's get out of here. Y'all keeping the party going. Jeez. Let's see. Black YMCAs served as important cultural and political hubs for the community. Williams embellished the Spanish colonial revival complex with bas-relief portraits of Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass. And every single person's bio, only one man keeps showing up. Only one man keeps showing up, man. Fists in the air for Booker T. Washington. Shots up. Shots in the air for Booker T. Washington. Oh, my goodness. To inspire young men visiting the center. Since then, an award-winning rehabilitation and expansion by Santa Monica, California firm Koning Eisenberg Architecture has given it a new life as affordable housing. That's what they love doing to our shit. They love turning our shit into projects. But anyway, Williams Hospitality Projects took him as far as Medellin, Colombia, but closer to home in his 1961 design for the La Concha Motel in Las Vegas. Is particularly notable. The concrete is crazy. The concrete parabolas of the building's lobby are reminiscent of Southern California's Googie-style structure. Style architecture. Jesus. Today, the space which was moved from its original location in 2006, is the visitor center of for the Neon Museum. On the East Coast, Williams helped modernize the Howard University campus in Washington, D.C. Okay, the historically black university commissioned the joint team of Williams and Hilliard Robinson to design numerous buildings starting in the mid-1930s. Robinson was committed to the international style, and the structures are spare and angular. But upon closer examination, one sees decorative motifs in the brickwork of buildings like the Ernest Everett Just Hall and the Ira Aldridge Theater. Quote, they were working in the leading aesthetic of the time, but you can see how they were trying to relate it to Black American culture through these specific architectural elements, says Brad Grant, a professor of architecture at Howard. Look at this. This is the 28th Street YMCA. Look what this is a YMCA. This is the YMCA. Okay? In 2017, Williams was posthumously awarded the AIA Gold Medal, one of the highest honors of his chosen profession. It is still the case today that only 2% of the nation's licensed architects are black or black American. Quote, my grandfather's been gone for 40 years, and I don't think he'd be happy to see where we are today. Talk about it, says Hudson, who was a steward of his legacy. Quote, he used his imagination for creative problem solving, and our future depends on giving more young people, particularly people of color, the opportunity to use their imagination. I hope his life is an inspiration to others. That, quite literally, is the perfect quote to end tonight's broadcast on. Perfect. You couldn't get more perfect than that. Okay? When I tell y'all that only 6% of all tradesmen are black, when she says when the article says only 2% of the nation's licensed architects are black American, and that's where we come from. I want y'all to know this, man. Your ancestors, all they did was build. All they did was create. All they did was construct. Y'all have to know that. There was one person left, but sorry, y'all. I don't drink. This is the most I drink without smoking. Okay? It gots to smoke when I drink. That's just how it goes. So we're not about to get into the last person, but I'm going to tell y'all this right here. Thank y'all for coming through to the 50th episode. Y'all done got me drunk on stream. You feel me? But yeah, man. I really want y'all to know that I don't do this shit just to make money or to be able to create content. Like I truly believe that we would have a completely different Black America if Black Americans continued the education that they had about the ancestors and about their history. I really do. I do think that if you guys were getting Hotep history lessons like this since you were a little kid into the time that you were in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, like all of this other stuff, I truly believe that the way that you would view yourself, the way that you would view the ancestors, and the way that you would view this country will be different. Every last one of these stories had racism in it, but you didn't even notice it. Every last one of these stories had racism in it, had discrimination in it. But you see, it was just a footnote. Did you notice that we didn't focus on white people at all? Do you notice that? Did you feel that? How did it feel learning about Black American history from the Black American perspective and only focusing on Black Americans historically? How did that feel? Where you wasn't bogged down by what some random white person or some authoritative white person felt about all of these different great men. That in the face of racism and discrimination, that only made them double down. Oh, you won't let us into the architect fucking group or whatever? We'll just create our own. Oh, you won't let me into this fraternal order? We'll create our own. Oh, you won't let me into this particular institution? We'll just create our own. Don't trip. Imagine, man. That's why I be trying to tell y'all. I don't be having these hangups, yo. I truly do not have these hangups. I really, really, really walk with the ancestors every day. I hear their voices. I really stand in this. I really believe this. This is something that I really live. And if y'all were tapped in the way that I'm tapped in, I promise you, y'all would feel like you would have superpowers. I don't know these people from a can of paint, but I don't need to. Because the minute I get to reading about them and the minute I get to reading their quotes directly, that's all I need. That's all I need. Yo, I'm trying to tell y'all something, son. I'm trying to tell y'all something. Study the ancestors for real, yo. Whatever you want to do in life, whatever you want to do in life right now, I'm pretty sure there's an ancestor for whatever it is. Because, like, I ain't tell y'all this, right? We could look it up in real time. What was it? Paul Revere Williams, right? PDF. He wrote a book. He wrote a book. You ain't know I knew that. You ain't know I knew that, but he wrote a book. I got it in my library. I've been had this book in my library. You feel me? But he wrote a book. And it's called The Small Home of Tomorrow. And he taught motherfuckers how to build a fucking crib inside of a book, G. You see what I'm saying? The Bermuda, the Regency, the Monterey, the Shangri-La Cottage. Like, yeah, nah, this is him. Paul R. Williams. You ain't know I knew about him already. You ain't knew I knew about Paul Revere Williams already. I knew he wrote this book. You feel me? Yeah, he been wrote a book. He wrote this book when 19 something. Can we afford an architect? All of that, the architect's notebook, the Bermuda. And look, he show you exactly what the Bermuda looked like. This is him. This is him. I'm trying to tell you something. I be knowing the ancestors on an intimate level, son. I be trying to tell y'all, like, just tap in with them. They not going nowhere, son. Everything that they did is etched in stone. Just tap in with him. He wrote this book. When he write this book? Let's go up. What year he wrote this book? I know it was like in the middle, like about to get into the mid 20th century, right? When he write this book? What year he wrote this? These blank pages. When did he write this book? 1945. 1945 he wrote this book. I'm trying to tell y'all something. Like, when it come to this shit, like, that's why I be trying to let y'all know, like, when it come down to all of the things that I be standing on and all of the things that y'all be seeing me grandstand on, it's like, yo, it's because I already know, son. It's because I already know. Take a shot for the book. And I know my limit. Don't trip. I'm never going to, like, pass out on stream or whatever. First of all, this is going to be, like, I'm not going to say the last time. Probably, I won't drink on stream again to episode 100. You feel me? But, yeah, y'all. He got books. He had a book. He wrote a book. You feel me? So, I'm telling y'all right now, son, you owe it to yourself to study the ancestors. You wouldn't be as grumpy as you are. You wouldn't have that chip on your shoulder. You wouldn't feel inferior to the cracker. You wouldn't have none of that. You'd be able to manifest white money talking about black power for real. When you don't walk around with, you know, that chip on your shoulder and feeling inferior and all of that. You feel me? So, thank you guys. Let's take it on back. Let's take it on back to my page. You know, we got to bring it on home. Thank you guys. 50 episodes in the bag. Let's give it up for them. Let's hear it for them. 50 episodes in the bag. Thank you, Here's to 50 more. Okay? Here's the 50 more. Okay, thank you everybody that's tapped in. We got niggas. We 100 deep on Twitter after midnight. So imagine what's going to look like when we start this bitch at 6 o'clock. You hear me? Thank you to everybody that came through tonight. Crystal, for sure, Sammy, Willie, who else we got? Rashad, things of that nature. We got Source the Prophet. Who else we got in this motherfucker, man? Came through and rock with me tonight in the chat. And everybody else who didn't. Yo, if you didn't hop in the chat tonight, what's stopping you? What's stopping you? Let's make sure I'm not neglecting Kick. Okay, nobody on Kick outside of Willie Will. Okay, thank you guys for all of the super chats and shit. Of course, thank you so much. Who else we got here? Is that everybody that I shout out? Bert, my brother Bert. How could I forget? Can't forget my brother Bert. You feel me? And as you can see, I'm not one of those belligerent drunks. Okay, I'm not an angry drunk. Okay, let's get it right. You know, I'm a happy drunk. So thank you guys again. Episode 50. I can't believe we got here so fast, man. So thank you guys. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock, maybe 3, in between the hours of 2 and 3 o'clock tomorrow, depending on how I feel when I wake up, we will have episode 8 of the Hotep History podcast. We will be talking about pragmatism versus protest. Protest versus pragmatism. Which side are you on? Should we be conservative, like your Booker T. Washingtons and Reverend Joseph H. Jacksons, or should we be more radical, like your Martin Luther Kings and W.E.B. Du Boises? Let me know tomorrow how you guys feel about that. I will be there. Thank you guys again. I know I said that before we get out of here. Make sure you're subscribing to the Patreon. Patreon.com/Hotep History. You got it up here. Okay. I would click it, but then it will reveal private information. We're not going to do that. But go ahead and click patreon.com/Hotep History right here. Oh, right here. Patreon.com/Hotep History. Patreon.com/Hotep History. You feel me? All right. So, because my sister Sunny, Sammy brought up a good point. Because my sister Sunny ends her show at 3, we'll start at 3. Respect to my sister Sunny Johnson. Love you, girl. So yeah. 3 o'clock Saturday. 3 o'clock on Saturday. Out of respect. Okay? Read the last chats. Says, for sure says, big Hotep history. Crystal says, happy 50th fire as usual. Sammy says, shout out to the 50th episode. Definitely one for the books. Hotep and builds to everybody. See y'all again mañana and Monday. Keep pushing, dudes. Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all. I'm one of them. I'm one of them. I love you, man, drunk. So don't get me to saying all of these thank yous. Listen, man, as always, you can't have the future without the present, and you can't have the present without the past. And we don't study history to live in the past, but to order our steps in the present so we can positively what? Affect our future. Thank you guys again for coming out to the show. We had a grand old time tonight. This is one for the books, like Sammy said. Thank you guys for everybody that came through, super chats and all of that other thing. Patreon.com/Hotep History. Patreon.com/Hotep History. And as always, man,